win or go home. This time of the year, the games become just that simple. The North 1 Group 3 state semifinals have once again come down Berdan Avenue, with the defending champion Patriots recently making history with their 26-game winning streak, standing as the longest in town history and cementing their status as a dynasty. Tonight, the Patriots have one thing on their mind, a coveted three-peat in states, and the only thing standing in their way is the Passaic Valley Hornets. Jim Nyland leads the Hornets into battle against the dangerous Jeremiah Gayo. It's the playoffs, baby, so throw that stat book out the window. Wayne Hills, Passaic Valley, now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Patriot Stadium for tonight's North 1 Group 3 state semifinal matchup between the Passaic Valley Hornets and your Wayne Hills Patriots. I'm David Suntup alongside Andrew Gayo and Matt Dubow. So guys, last week, Passaic Valley quarterback Jim Nyland and the rest of the Passaic Valley offense put on a clinic against the Wayne Valley Indians. How does this Wayne Hills defense stop this red-hot Passaic Valley offense?
Well, it's all going to go to the defensive backs to stop this team, because right now the receivers are at their best. Nyland's playing at an absolute phenomenal level. They need to shut down any crossing routes and anything that Nyland's going to throw up in the air. They need to put a lot of pressure on him so that he makes bad decisions.
Now, this might sound a little funny, but really what Wayne Hills has to do is stop the running game. By stopping Doritas, the PV running back, and forcing Nyland to throw, they're going to be relying on Nyland a little too much, allowing the Wayne Hills defense to utilize their pass rush, which these defensive line, a little iron curtain, they have a combined 18 sacks on the season, which is just phenomenal, and that's how you get it done.
Mostly, this Wayne Hills defense is playing against very good rushing offenses. Now, they get their real first test against a good passing offense. How will the Wayne Hills secondary hold up tonight?
Well, it's going to be key for them, as I said, David, to stop the crossing routes, because we all know that's Nyland's favorite thing to do. You know, when his receivers cut towards the middle of the field, that's where he's going to throw the ball. So if they clog the middle with a bunch of linebackers and the secondary, they'll be in good shape.
I agree with that, but I think they also have to be very physical. The secondary has to match up their big guys with PV's big guys, because a lot of Nyland's favorite targets are big. You have Delorio. He stands at 6'3", which is a huge target. So what they're going to have to do is take Jeff Brzezinski, who stands at 6'1", 6'2", their biggest guy in defense, and match him up. Do a very physical matchup. You want to do a bump and run. Make Delorio run for the ball, which is not one of his specialties.
When it's playoff time, guys, the key players are the ones who shine. Who are your key players for the Wayne Hills Patriots tonight?
Well, arguably, you got to look at number 21, Ray Van Penen. He's the man who really brought him to 12-0 last year. He's come back this year, coming back from the injury. He's shown some ill effects, but he's been pretty solid out there. He's been coming around and had a 53-yard touchdown run last week. Now, my other guy, number 35, big Scotty Iowa Schultz. I mean, you look at that man, 6'4". He actually just got his full scholarship to UConn. He knows what he's doing out there. So if PV can stop him, they'll be in good shape, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I'm going to take Mike Fulham, but surprisingly on the defensive side of the ball. Like I was saying, they have to play very physical. And, Mike is going to be very keen stopping the run at his linebacker position. But they could also take him and have him run at the corner position with the wide receivers. By putting a big, tall guy, he'll be able to defend the bigger receivers much better. Also, I'm going to go with Dave Ogden, number 55 at the end. He really leads that Iron Curtain defensive line, and he's got to put the pressure on Nealon. He knows it, and he's ready for it.
Thanks, guys. Tonight is not the first time Wayne Hills and Passaic Valley are meeting in the North 1 Group 3 playoffs. Back in 2002 and 2003, Wayne Hills and Passaic Valley met here at Patriot Stadium in the North 1 Group 3 state quarterfinals, with Wayne Hills winning both matchups. Now, we're going to take you to the call where Michael Rundner called the 2002 game and Justin Rubio called the 2003 game. Enjoy.
The snap, the Jets show that all the time. The handoff goes to Varkartapane, and he tumbles into the end zone for the score. Touchdown, Hornets. Scott's going to call touchdown to Corrado, and there's the rollout, like I said, and he's looking for Greg. How do you like that? Touchdown, Wayne Hills. Greg Olson to the back of the end zone. Monahan hands it it off to Williams. Williams has a nice hole, and he's going to bring it in for the score. Touchdown, Patriots. And Passaic Valley is too. And look at that. Monahan keeps it for the touchdown. So you know what, Joe?
Score. Wayne Hills has no pressure on him as the kick is up and through the uprights.
Fans are on their feet. Monahan, look at that. He's back in the pocket, and he's going for Greg Olson. And he got it! He got it! Touchdown, Patriots! Touchdown, Patriots! Wayne Hills is going to take home the victory and the biggest win of the young career of Greg Olson and many to come. Touchdown, Patriots!
We'll see just what the Patriots do. And they fake the handoff up the middle to Chaz Lynn, and Andrew Bucci has all the room in the world to walk into the end zone. And an unbelievably great call. I believe he has him because he is a great football player. That's pretty much. Well, back to the action right now. It looks like Chaz Lynn got to the pylon. Did he? And he did.
Chaz Lynn, touchdown.
The signal from the referee is indeed a touchdown. Back to Nick Burkett. Burkett has been a point lead, pitching a shutout right now. Fake reverse to Bucci, and Ryan Mink is wide open. This could be the dagger in the coffin. And short-handed Ryan Mink with a great catch. A pretty good pass by Nick Wurzel. And it's safe to say that is the ballgame.
Thank you very much, Michael Runder and Justin Rubio. So, guys, I think it's pretty ironic that in 2002, probably the best ever team here at Wayne Hills struggled to beat the 8th seeded Passaic Valley Hornets. They only won on a Greg Olson touchdown in overtime. But the 2003 team, which is probably one of the worst in recent memory, even though it still wasn't that bad, they beat Passaic Valley 21-0. So, guys, what do you think about that?
You know, that's just the way it goes in the playoffs. You throw out the stack book, you throw out their records. It's whoever wants it more, whoever wants to keep fighting. You know, that team had some great weapons, possibly one of the best quarterbacks here at Wayne Hills, Brendan Monahan, who's a big guy. He was able to throw over the line, run the ball every now and then. And he had a bigger, even asset in Greg Olson, without a doubt the best tight end ever here at Wayne Hills. He's playing at Miami now. And in the end, that combo, as you saw on the screen earlier, their final touchdown in the closing seconds of the game, proved to be better than the PV defense.
Now, David, the 2002 team, as you said, was probably arguably the best team ever here. And then the 2003 team that went 7-4 struggled a little bit. And that year, they showed it in the clips. Justin Ravino was calling it. Nick Warzel, a struggling junior that year, was having a tough year. And you saw he picked apart that PV defense. He threw a nice ball to Ryan Mink, who's now playing at Iona University. So, again, as Matt said, the playoffs is different. It's a whole different story. And as also Matthew brought up, quarterbacks here at Wayne Hills. You know, Brendan Monahan, he's a big guy. Nick Warzel is very good. Mike Peischel was good. But now, this year, the starting quarterback, Michael Giampapa, who's hurt, came back to school, and that means one-on-one with number one is back. So I had a chance to talk to him, Mr. Giampapa. Hello and welcome to One-on-One with Number One. It's been a while since we last did this. I'm Andrew Gayo, alongside me, the quarterback for your Wayne Hills Patriots, number one, Michael Giampapa. Michael, you had a broken femur in the Old Japan game the first time around. How has your recovery process been in the physical therapy?
It's been really good. You know, we're taking it nice and slow. Working hard to get back, definitely. Just can't wait to strap on the maroon and white and go out and play.
Now, the rumor has it that you're aiming to come back for December 2nd at the Meadowlands. Is this true?
Yeah. It's an option right now. Just gotta see how my leg feels, and if I feel good, I'll be ready to go.
Now, we all know that when you're out there, when you're healthy, you're the gunslinger. Right now, the man that has taken over your role temporarily is Jeremiah Kale. Now, first couple of weeks or two, he looked a little nervous, I guess you could say. Nerves got the best of him, but he started to settle down the past couple of weeks. How have you, I guess, mentored him during this period and given him some advice regarding the quarterback position?
I just told him, just go out and be confident. The rest of the guys will pick up a lot of the slack that, that he needed to feel comfortable in there. It's really been him. He's done a really good job, directed the offense, and he's made some big plays too, which definitely helps.
Now, enough about, you and your recovery process. Let's go swing it to the next game, the Passaic Valley Hornets versus your Wayne Hills Patriots. Now, back in 2002, Greg Olson played this played the Passaic Valley Hornets, and they won in overtime here at Patriot Stadium, 28-21. How is this, now that you're playing them again, in the preseason you played them in 7-on-7s, there was a little hostility there. How has this brewed into like a little oh, we're better than you or something like that?
Oh, well, I think it's definitely a little rivalry. It's the playoffs and semifinals, and just as bad as we want to be in the Meadowlands, that they definitely want to be there too. Greg Olson, a big playmaker, made a few big plays to win him the game, and I think we're going to see a few playmakers step up, make some big plays and actually put us on our back this game. It's going to be a good game. They're a pretty good team, so look out for some few key plays to win the game.
Now, this is the same team that put up 49 points. They scored on their first 7 possessions against the Wayne Valley Indians, your crosstown rivals. And we all know that Wayne Valley, they have a good defense. What did Jim Nyland and the Passaic Valley Hornets do that you guys are going to have to stop them if you don't want the same result?
Well, PV kind of spread them out. They spread them thin, and they really just picked them apart. They threw the ball on them, and that's one thing that we did. We just got to stop. We have good matchups, so we look to really, play a solid defensive game, and just come out on offense and put some points on the board.
Coach Olson was quoted in the paper actually saying, well, your strategy against Old Japan was to stop the run, because we all know Moko Tuk and Jamie Rowe, they're very good, and you stopped the run. You did a good job. You forced them to pass. This week, you play the Passaic Valley Hornets, and you kind of want them to run. You don't want them to pass because they got all that firepower. Now, how have your cornerbacks, what are they going to have to do to prevent, the game-breaking plays that happen against the Indians?
I think they just have to play smart. The thing about us, we don't have to play out of, beyond our limits. If we play our game, I think we're good enough to win. When you have to play above your heads is when you really kind of get in trouble. So I think if our D-backs and it starts with them, but the defensive line, and if we get some pressure on them, force them to making some bad decisions, some bad throws, and it makes a job for our D-backs a lot easier. So I think if we just play smart, and just play our game, we'll be fine.
Let's go back to Jeremiah, since obviously you're not going to be back this week, but what is he going to have to do against this Passaic Valley defense that Charlie Regaloso did not do when Wayne Valley played them?
Well, I think the biggest key to this game, is having a good offense, because the best defense is having a good offense. So I think if we come out and we have long drives and just keep drives going and take a lot of time off the clock and not really let their offense get on the field, that's really going to help us. So I think protecting the quarterback and have Jeremiah, making some big plays on third down if we get there, and just get the running game started and just control the game, not get anyone too excited.
That's absolutely correct. The key is basically you don't want to get too overexcited, but you want to be focused enough to win the game. Michael, good luck. You'll be on the sidelines there cheering them on, but you know what? Hopefully you get back and you're in the groove basically for the state championship game. And now we're going to send it back up for the opening kickoff. Wayne Hills, Passaic Valley.
Tonight, of the North 1 Group 3 state playoffs has the home team Patriots hosting the visiting Hornets of Passaic Valley High School. The officials assigned to this game are members of the New Jersey Football Officials Association. The rules governing this game are the National Federation of High School Football rules, and these rules are different from the rules used in college and professional football. Now to introduce the officials in tonight's game. The referee is Angelo Franicola. The umpire, Dennis Buckley. The linesman, Dave Pridham. The line judge, Bob Masucci. The back judge, Joe Papasadero. And the clock operator, Larry Tamaroglio.
Dave, what's wrong with your headset? I'm going to do intros. What?
Ladies and gentlemen, and now to introduce the starting defensive lineup for the Passaic Valley Hornets. On defensive line, number 75, Josh Brito, number 75. And number 58, Hermes Kose, number 58. Number 57, Lorenzo Brancaccio, number 57. And number 80, John Coral, number 80. At inside linebacker, number 24, Phil Doritas, number 24. Also at inside linebacker, number 51, Tyler Miselli, number 51. Also at inside linebacker, number 1, Damon Diorio, number 1. At outside linebacker, number 3, Joe Licio, number 3. At cornerback, number 22, Joe Wassel, number 22. At cornerback, number 49, Matt Macaluso, number 49. And at free safety, number 32, Brendan Murphy, number 32. And now to introduce the starting defensive lineup for the Wayne Hills Patriots. At defensive end, number 55, Dave Ogden, number 55. At defensive tackle, number 72, Matt Johnson, number 72. At defensive tackle, number 35, Scott Schultz, number 35. At defensive end, number 10, Kyle Hattenberg, number 10. At linebacker, number 20, Dan DeSico, number 20. At linebacker, number 40, Mike Fulham, number 40. At linebacker, number 4, Tim Waller, number 4. At linebacker, number 44, Mike Roman, number 44. At cornerback, number 22, Kevin Barakat, number 22. At cornerback, number 5, Jeff Przinski, number 5. And at free safety, number 21, Ray Van Penen, number 21. Ladies and gentlemen, the captains and co-captains will meet at midfield for the coin toss. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem by the Hornet Marching Band.
Hi, I'm David Suntup, and now let's send it down to the sidelines where the fourth member of our broadcast crew, Aaron Ploshnick, has a report for us. Aaron, take it away.
Thanks, Dave. Here's my perspective on today's game. The key matchup will be Wayne Hills' defensive line versus Passaic Valley's offensive line. The Passaic Valley offensive line did a great job blocking for quarterback Nyland in the game against Wayne Valley, but they're going to have a much tougher time against the Wayne Hills defensive line, which is headed by Dave Ogden, and also with Scott Schultz, Kyle Hannenberg, and Matt Johnson. If the defensive line penetrates, then Nyland will have a lot of problems throwing to his star wide receiver, Deloria. But if they don't penetrate in time, they'll be testing a secondary that hasn't been tested very well all year. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Aaron, and welcome back to Patriots Stadium for tonight's North 1 Group 3 state semifinal matchup. If you're just joining us, I'm David Suntup alongside Andrew Gayo and Matt Dubow. The captains for the Wayne Hills Patriots are at the middle of the field for the coin toss. From right to left, number 72, Matt Johnson, number 21, Ray Van Peenan, number 40, Mike Fulham, and number 55, Dave Ogden. So, guys, what are your thoughts on tonight's matchup between Wayne Hills and Passaic Valley?
It's going to be a battle of stopping Jim Nyland and the pass offense for the Passaic Valley Hornets. They're going to have to go out there on the secondary and shut them down. That's all it comes down to. I mean, you got to look at the big picture here. The Patriots haven't been tested much all year at the quarterback position, but now Nyland, he's a perennial threat, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I mean, this Wayne Hills passing defense has not really been tested at all, and what we've seen has not really been too great of things. So we're going to be looking for the secondary to come up big and stop Nyland, who's been known to make those big plays. You know, he's had a great, amazing game against Wayne Valley last week and prevented that little Wayne ball that we were all hoping for. But we'll see what will happen here tonight. I believe in the pass rush, which I think will be the difference in this game. And, you know, if they can get through, put some pressure on him, I think it'll be over. But it's all about, you know, establishing themselves. They have to establish themselves on both sides of the ball. You know, make sure that PV knows they're here to play, and that's really going to be some keys here.
Speaking of that Wayne Hills defensive line, there was a great article in the Record this week, and I don't know if our viewers had the honor to read it, as Passaic Valley actually won the coin toss, and they deferred. So Wayne Hills, a little bit out of the norm for the Patriots, they will receive to start the game. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, they like
Back
to
to my
defer.
point about the article. There was an article in the Bergen Record, Wayne Hills D-line is an iron curtain. And they talk about how dominant this Wayne Hills defensive line has been this year. And combined, the Patriots defensive line is responsible for 220 tackles, including 127 solo tackles, and more than 50 tackles for a loss, which is just remarkable. 18 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 defensive touchdown, which Kyle Hannenberg has to his credit. That was on the first drive of the season for the Patriots on defense. So this defensive line has just been absolutely fantastic. What are your thoughts on the defensive line for the Wayne Hills Patriots?
Well, I mean, it's a unit that has gelled together excellently.
There you go.
I cannot. Yeah, I'm having issues tonight anyway, but no. My point being is they've done a great job getting together, and they have, as they said in the interview, they're like family. You know, they go out there together. They go through tough times there. Not a lot of tough times, but you know, they go out there and they work hard.
One thing I enjoyed about that article was they explained a few nicknames that I had not heard of before that article. They called Matt Johnson a brick wall, I heard in the
Yes,
article.
they did.
That was entertaining.
Scott Schultz, a very big dude.
Yeah, that's
Dave Ogden, the technical guy, and Kyle Hannenberg, the crazy guy.
But
and you know that nickname about Kyle Hannenberg,
Yeah.
because if you see him during warm-ups, he's always really pumped up. He's so ready to play. He gets everyone else motivated. He's just a great leader for this Wayne Hills Patriots team.
he also plays lacrosse, and that's another game of adrenaline. If you see him before the lacrosse game, he'll have his face all painted up. You don't do that in football as much, but it's very intimidating. Back to what I was saying, you know, the line is going to be the key to this night, and I'm not going to talk too much. I'll let you go to action, Dave. I know you're itching, so here we go.
And we are set here for kickoff of this North 1 Group 3 state semifinal matchup. Mike Frequenza of Passaic Valley does a squib kick to start off the game as it hits off Mike Roman and picked up by Dave DeSico. As DeSico runs it off the gut, and he's taken down at about the 32-yard line, where Jeremiah Kell in the offense will take over.
This is very unusual for the Patriots, David. Now, they're a team that usually defers to the second half, and I think this is the first time in the past 2 seasons that they've actually accepted
Really?
a kickoff in the beginning of the game. Yeah.
It's a very bold statement there, and the squib kick at the beginning I liked. Offset the special teams a little bit. Wally Johnson, I don't think was going to be expecting that one, but they did a good job of gathering the ball up, and they got a small return. But I'm looking for Jeremiah here to start it off.
What's very interesting is you have to admit Passaic Valley really has a lot of respect for the abilities of Dan DeCicco and Carlton Marson returning kickoffs. I formation here for the Patriots. Kale hands it off to Fulham on the wide receiver reverse. Fulham, he's at the 40-yard line. He makes it deep. Still going as Mike Fulham is down at about the 43-yard line, right by the first down marker.
And that was good trickery there by the Patriots to get things started. Dr. Kale giving the ball up to his big wide receiver, Mike Fulham, and he just took it on the outside, and look at the big man go. He went out to the outside and found room, and he got the first down.
You don't see Mike Fulham running the ball much. He catches it, he'll bowl a few people over and get a first down or two, but you really saw some running ability on that one. He was juking some players out, used a stiff arm. I like his ability there. They should be utilizing that a little more often. I haven't seen that this season thus far.
So 1st and 10 for the Patriots from their own 44-yard line. I formation as the ref throws a flag. Could be a false start penalty.
Yeah, they're pointing to the Wayne Hills offense.
As it is a penalty on the Patriots, it's a false start penalty. It'll knock them back 5 yards to about their 39-yard line.
So 1st and 15 now. Any play predictions, guys? Play predictions? Predictions?
I think right here I'm gonna see the Patriots.
I think a handoff here. You have to get Ray Van Peen involved. You have to get him some carries.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree. Give this one to Ray. I mean, he was looking great in his warm-ups before. And it's quarterback
as Jeremiah's
option.
going to take on the QB keeper. Kale is down at about the 47-yard line. Spoke about some trickery there. Jeremiah Kale has been very explosive running the football for this Patriots team.
One thing about Jeremiah Kale and his running abilities, I don't want the Wayne Hills offense to rush it. I mean, you saw against Ramapo, his first start, they seemed to rush the quarterback option, the quarterback keeper, a little too much in the opening plays. They tried to establish himself, which is fine. But really, you have to establish a running game, establish a short passing game, and then use the quarterback keeper to kind of as a special effect. You can't count on it to be a constant play in your playbook. It has to be utilized in the correct form.
So the Patriots come to the line of scrimmage at about their own 48-yard line. I formation. DeCicco and Przicki split left. Handoff Van Peenan. Van Peenan up the right sideline as he gets the first down. It's at about the Passaic Valley 46-yard line.
Now, David, as I was saying before, though, I was expecting them to hand the ball off consistently here because we all know the running backs they have. But back to my point being, the opposing fans here at Patriot Stadium, the first time the whole season that the visiting bleachers are packed. I mean, Passaic Valley's in Little Falls. It's like about 10, 15 minutes away roughly. So, it's good to see a packed house here at Patriot Stadium.
One of the closer high schools, which I think is going to account for most of that. But, yeah, I mean, it's state sectional semifinals, which is going to be another reason.
1st and 10 for the Patriots on the Passaic Valley 46-yard line. DeCicco in motion. Kale, handoff Van Peenan. As Van Peenan loses the football, and it's a fumble. And it looks like the Passaic Valley Hornets could have the football.
Van Peenan on the carry.
And it's Passaic Valley ball as the Hornets sideline jumps up in celebration.
Very uncharacteristic of this Wayne Hills rushing offense. They don't fumble much. They don't turn over the ball in general much, and I'm sure they're going to be out to prove themselves not only on the defensive side of the ball but on the offensive side of the ball when they get back out there. I'm not going to think this is going to discourage them too much.
Passaic Valley fans are getting really excited now. They're really getting into this game and trying to pump up their Hornets. But I have an interesting stat for the viewers at home. After a Ray Van Peenan fumble, he's had some of his best games the whole year. Back against Ramapo in the Northland Group 3 State semifinals, Van Peenan had 5 touchdowns and 300 yards rushing. Against Northern Highlands, over 200 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns. As Kyle Hannenberg, talking about that great Wayne Hills defensive line, comes up with the sack on the Hornets' first offensive possession of the game.
PV came out in the shotgun showing that they're not scared to pass on this Wayne Hills defense, and Wayne Hills shoved it right down their throat.
Absolutely. I mean, that big pursuit on the defensive line was absolutely essential to that play. I mean, Kyle Hannenberg, the crazy one, he got in there and he put Jim Nyland to the ground.
as Passaic Valley will use their first time out of the game. Their coach, Angelo DeSalvo, coming out to talk to his offense.
Angelo DeSalvo actually has a really sad story about the whole situation there. His wife actually passed away this past May, and he has 2 little kids, and it's been a very emotional year because she was diagnosed with cancer 6 years ago. She battled through it, she got past it, and it recently just came back in 2005, and then she lost the battle. She passed away in May. So now when they played the Wayne Valley Indians in the Wayne Today the Today Cup, which is sponsored by the Wayne Today, it was very emotional because Passaic Valley won on the game-winning field goal, and his kids were there, who are they're toddlers to say the least, and it was just very emotional. And his players rally around the coach, so they know what to do.
Very emotional story. So the Passaic Valley Hornets are playing for their head coach, Angelo DeSalvo. Did not coach the Hornets when they played Wayne Hills back in 2002 and 2003. His first year was 2004 when the Passaic Valley Hornets when the Passaic Valley Hornets were last in the playoffs. They lost in the North 1 Group 3 quarterfinals at Ramapo Stadium, 38-6. Nyland back to pass as he completes the pass to Wassel as he's taken down close to the first down marker at about the Wayne Hills 46-yard line.
And that's one thing that the Patriots do not want to happen. They don't want these little short routes to get maybe 5-6 yards on them, because it's key for them to keep getting 3 and outs, because that's been essential for the Patriots the whole season in their defensive tone. Gentlemen, they have not given up a rushing touchdown this whole season, the first unit. They've only given up 2 through the air, the first unit. So we all know that this team, you can't run on them.
So 3rd and 1 here for the Hornets on the Wayne Hills 47-yard line. Nyland back to pass. Great pressure by the Seagulls. Nyland completes the pass down the sidelines to Delorio, and Delorio is down at about the 18-yard line. What a huge pass play for the Passaic Valley Hornets.
Delorio was wide open on that. I mean, I don't know what broke down there. It was a great play calling by the Passaic Valley Hornets. I mean, I believe what's been happening. I mean, we didn't see, but we heard last week 6 touchdowns for Jim Nyland. The kid can play.
This series right here is extremely vital to the Wayne Hills team in general. What they're going to have to do is force them to kick a field goal. Force them to go forward on 4th down. They have to hold them here. If they let them score, the rusher momentum goes to PV after a turnover, and that's not what you need.
1st and 10 for the Passaic Valley Hornets on the Wayne Hills 21-yard line. Jumbo set here for the Hornets. Nyland rolls out to his right. Great pressure by DeSico. Nyland gets rid of the ball as the pass is incomplete, intended for Damian DeLoro.
Great awareness there by Nyland. You haven't heard anything about his running ability, but he did a very good QB bootleg to get away from the Wayne Hills pass rush there, and good awareness to throw it away.
Nyland has really done a great job avoiding the Wayne Hills pass rush, and he's been able to get off some good passes. Unfortunately, that pass was just out of the reach of his number 1 target, Damian DeLorio.
Eventually, go ahead, Andrew.
Most of the season, that was a good point by David, which I was going to bring up, but most quarterbacks would take the sack there for the opposing team, but Nyland did a good job of getting the ball away.
Nyland back to pass, rolls out to his right, and he completes the pass to number 80, John Corral, the senior tight end, as his knee touches the grass, and he's down at about the 19-yard line of the Wayne Hills Patriots.
So 3rd down here, this is key. If they stop him here, they could force possibly a short field goal or a 4th and short.
3rd and about 8.
Well, we all know that Frequenza can kick because he had the game-winning field goal against the Wayne Valley Indians, which was roughly 26 yards. But say the Patriots stopped him here, it will be about a 36-yard field goal. So we'll see what happens.
As Nyland brings his troops to the line. 2 wide receivers split left. Patriots showing blitz. Nyland back to pass. Good pressure by Fulham. As the pass is complete to number 17, Dan Alcala, as the Passaic Valley Hornets complete the 3rd down conversion and have the 1st down.
And this is not good for the Patriots because their key, before I said in the game, was to stop these little routes that the Hornets are running, and right now they're not doing a good job at all at it, and it's really, they're exposing the weaknesses that have not been exposed the whole year. And quite frankly, they got to step it up, the Patriots, because if they keep doing like this, Jim Nyland's going to walk down the field and throw the ball all over the place.
You have to give credit to the receiver on that one. There was amazing concentration to stay with the ball. He stayed with it, kept his feet in bounds, and then dove out. It was a great play.
Four wide receivers set here for the Passaic Valley Hornets. Nyland back to pass. Quick pass as the pass is incomplete, and they're going to call pass interference on Ray Van Penen as Ray Van Penen tackles Dan Cohen to the ground. So, pending the ref's call, the Passaic Valley Hornets will probably have first and goal around the 2-yard line.
Did not like that call. The ball was way past the receiver. It was obviously the intentional receiver. I mean, I like that play by Ray Van Penen. I don't think he should be penalized.
Well, I think that Ray Van Penen tackled him a little bit too early, so I sort of agree with the call. And now Passaic Valley has 4 chances to get into the end zone.
This is the best drive this whole season that an opposing team has put on the Patriots. I mean, I guess the first team at least.
You know, Ray Van Penen's had 2 mental mistakes thus far. I'm confident he can bounce back. He's known to bounce back. But he really is putting the pressure on himself here.
First and goal for the Passaic Valley Hornets from the Patriots' 5-yard line. Nyland back to pass, rolls out to his right. Nyland is going to take it himself. Is going to be sacked in the backfield by a host of Patriots. Kyle Hannenberg, one of the Patriots, in on that play, as the Wayne Hills defensive line does a great job against the quarterback keeper.
You know, Nyland had great awareness once again on his little bootleg there. The only problem was there was no one to throw to, no one to even throw it away to, and he had no chance but to take that sack. I mean, Nyland's playing very impressively tonight so far, and I'm impressed.
Well, what they have to do here, I mean, if I were the Hornets, I couldn't settle for a field goal because we all know this Wayne Hills offense, they can play. I mean, they have the weapons, and if they can't, they got to score a touchdown here and then convert the extra point because a field goal might not be enough in the end.
Second and goal for the Passaic Valley Hornets. 2 wide receivers split right. Nyland hands it off to number 22, Joe Wassel, as Wassel takes it down to about the 4-yard line. So now it'll be third and goal for the Passaic Valley Hornets from the Patriots' 4-yard line.
Why are these opponents trying to run on the Patriots? We all know that they just can't. It just shows, statistics show that the opponent does not run against Wayne Hills, and right now in this goal line situation, they keep running it down the Patriots' throat. If they want to score, they throw the ball up in the air.
You have to understand that play call, Andrew. They've run straight pass plays. Something's going on here.
Interesting.
Unusual formation there. I'm not sure what's going on.
That's actually illegal.
As the Wayne Hills Patriots call their first time out of the game, as Coach Olson wants to go over some things with his defense. Very unusual formation there by the Passaic Valley Hornets to put everyone on the left side of the field. I wonder what play they were going to run.
I don't know. I guess it's not illegal because you can have the ineligible men on the line of scrimmage, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not a swami.
That's an interesting formation. I would never even think of putting that in my playbook, but if it was, what I would do is if the line continues and follows to the left with the rest of the PV offensive line, run a Q-back sneak.
No, well, quite frankly, Matthew, you put the ineligible men outside on the field. Why don't you just put everybody in the middle? Because Nyland's not going to get any protection.
I agree with you there, but why would you go with the formation in the first place?
I don't know.
We're not sure. So
I mean,
we're just assuming and trying to make assumptions.
I might draw that up in my two-hand touch Will Piper football game tomorrow.
Very interesting play.
So now it'll be third and goal for the Passaic Valley Hornets from the Wayne Hills Patriots 5-yard line.
I believe
play here for the Hornets.
I believe this is the first goal line stand the first team Wayne Hills defense has had to make all year. And so far I'm impressed, but we'll see. I don't want to jinx anything.
Don't do it, Matthew.
Nyland rolls out to his left. Looking to the end zone as the pass is incomplete. Intended for number 1, Damian Delorio. Great coverage there by number 21, Ray Van Penen.
Great coverage there, along with Jeff Brzezinski, who blocked up the running back who went out on the screen. And, you know, there was no one home there, possibly even an interception.
And they are going to kick. It looks like. From the looks of things.
This was a great stand for the defense. They really needed this. Even if you hold them to 3 points, you come back, you bounce back, get an offensive touchdown, but you could not let up a careless touchdown like that.
Guys, Passaic Valley is going for it here. Do you think this could possibly be the biggest play of the game right now?
Oh, absolutely. And they're running that crazy formation. David, I'm confused.
Shotgun formation. Nyland back to pass. He's looking to the end zone. As the pass is incomplete. Intended for number 17, Dan Alcala. Great coverage there by Kevin Harris and Mike Fuller.
And the pendulum swings right back in Wayne Hill's favor. Amazing goal line stand. They blitzed Fulham after a little delayed blitz, and Nyland was under pressure, got rid of it, sloppy throw, and that's it.
Do you think Coach Angelo DeSalvo made the right call there to go for it?
You know what? I think he did, because 3 points, as I said earlier, was not enough. I mean, you got to, especially but in that situation, if you go for it, you got to punch it in. You have no choice, because now that's a 6-point swing right there.
I agree. 3 points against this Wayne Hills offense, nothing. You got to get touchdowns. Without touchdowns, you're not going to get a win.
And no field goals are guaranteed in high school sports. I mean,
Absolutely.
the Patriots could have blocked that.
Extra points are not even close to being guaranteed.
Well, speaking of extra points, Scott Schultz is pretty close to guaranteeing extra points, especially this season. As Patriots take over for about the 4-yard line. Handoff is to Danny DeSico, as DeSico is tackled around the 6-yard line.
I'm impressed by PV's run defense thus far. They haven't really given up any big runs besides that. The two initial runs in the beginning. I think they're starting to catch on here.
No gain on the play.
On the Patriots' first offensive drive, even though they turned it over on the Ray Van Penen fumble, they looked pretty good on the couple of plays that they had.
You know, the PV faithful is really coming out tonight. The stands, I don't know if we can get a shot of this, but the stands are packed, and fans are literally lining up against the fence. I mean, I've never seen that. You see that on the Wayne Hills side every night, but never on an opposing team.
No, never.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Patriots at their own 5-yard line. Shotgun formation. Gayo back to pass. Gayo's going deep. As well as this complete to Ray Van Penen. As Ray Van Penen fights for a few extra yards, they take it down at about the Wayne Hills 22-yard line.
That's the type of play Ray needed to make. Boost his confidence back up, show that he could bounce back from those mistakes. Great one-handed grab, great concentration on the catch.
It was, and it was a breakdown on the defense for the Passaic Valley Hornets. I mean, you just threw it up there for Ray, and it was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, apparently nobody was covering him, and that's not good.
You got to cover Ray.
1st and 10 for the Patriots from the 23-yard line. DeSico split left, Van Penen in the backfield. Gayo fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. As well as it's complete to Mike Fulham. Boom, down the sideline. It's a great block from Marson. Boom, he's at the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Patriots. As the Wayne Hills Patriots strike first to take a 6-0 lead.
Amazing blocking on that play by Kevin Barraquette, downfield blocking. I mean, I think that might have been the longest pass touchdown all season. Great job by Jeremiah Gayo. He looked to run the ball initially, saw the pressure coming in, got rid of it to his open big man, and just an amazing job.
Mr. Barraquette with a fantastic block there. So along with Scott Schultz, they got downfield, and especially Kevin. Kevin got down there and just opened some holes. But let's go back to the catch and run. Michael Fulham, great throw by Jeremiah, but Michael ran down that field, making some cuts, ran past the defense for a touchdown. That's a huge swing of points and momentum for the Patriots.
Snap is good, hold is good. The kick by Scott Schultz splits the uprights as the Wayne Hills Patriots take a 7-0 lead. And I apologize for that earlier play. I said the blocker was Carlton Marson, but it was Kevin Barraquette. That was a fantastic block there by Kevin Barraquette. And speaking of Mike Fulham, coming up at halftime, I sat down with Mike Fulham, got the interview for the In the Locker Room report. It was a great interview. He was very nice, and I'm really happy that he's having a solid game so far with that touchdown.
You know, Mike can be a little intimidating. He's a very big guy. He's got a lot of facial hair. For a high school student such as myself who can't grow any, that's a little intimidating. But he is a very nice guy, and I think you'll see that today in the halftime report.
I can grow facial hair.
Well, maybe I'm just...
No, I respect you with 100%.
The sideburns, I could fill them out.
Well, the mutton chops, you know.
That's about it.
Abe Lincoln brought him back, back in the day.
Passaic Valley, on their first offensive drive, they come all the way down the field. They fail on 4th and goal. Now Wayne Hills gets a long touchdown pass from Jeremiah to Mike Fulham. How will Passaic Valley respond here?
You got to keep passing with Nyland. You got to keep going on his shotguns. I like maybe get a little play action going. I haven't seen any of that. They have not making the Wayne Hills defense respect the run, and we know that's hard to do with this defense, but you have to try to develop something. Without a play action, you're going to be hurting in the passing game, and I know Nyland's been able to do that thus far this year, but I don't think he can against this Wayne Hills defense.
Not with the momentum right now.
Schultz, the kickoff for Wayne Hills. Nice high kick by Scott Schultz as it's fielded at about the 5-yard line by Wassel. And a great play on special teams by Tim Waller as Wassel is taken down at the 15-yard line.
And I think it's all Patriots from here, folks. I mean, right now, as it looks, the momentum is all in favor of Wayne Hills, and right now they're not going to stop.
I won't count Nyland out. I mean, I am very impressed this far, like I said earlier, and I really do think that he could lead a little comeback drive. One score and they're back in this. I understand it's far downfield, but you saw Dr. Gayo operate on the defense earlier. That was all him. 2 passes, big gains, and touchdown. So, I mean, that shows how quickly this momentum can shift. 1 turnover, 1 long touchdown, and it's back in the other team's favor.
Passaic Valley now down a touchdown, takes over at their own 15-yard line. Nyland rolls out to his right. Good protection. Nyland goes deep as the pass is incomplete, intended for Damon Delorio. Delorio was wide open along the left sideline.
He was. I mean, that was miscommunication. Luckily, Ray Van Penen was in the zone, but nobody was on him. If Delorio caught that, that would have been a huge breakdown for the Patriots.
That could have been the missed opportunity to swing the momentum back in their favor that I was just talking about. You know, you don't get many opportunities like that. Nyland didn't deliver. I understand he's under pressure with those big guys running at him. You get the crazy one, Kyle Handenberg, in your face, and it's very hard to concentrate, but you got to make that play.
2nd and 10 for the Passaic Valley Hornets on their own 15-yard line. Nyland hands it off as Passaic Valley gets a minimal gain, probably tackled around the line of scrimmage. So now it'll be 3rd and long for the Passaic Valley Hornets. They're already converted once on 3rd and long. Let's see what they have in them here. 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The Wayne Hills Patriots taking a 7-0 lead. If you're just joining us, I'm David Suntup alongside Andrew Gayo and Matt Dubow. You are watching the North 1 Group 3 state semifinals between the visiting Passaic Valley Hornets and your Wayne Hills football Patriots. 3rd and 10 for Passaic Valley from their own 15-yard line. Nyland rolls out to his right. Nyland going deep for Alcala as the ball is incomplete as he overthrows Alcala, and Passaic Valley will have to punt.
There was great coverage there by Kevin Barricat. Anything near the receiver probably would have been batted down or picked off.
Kevin had excellent coverage there. He got right into the receiver's face. He ran him down out of bounds, actually. I mean, he just had great position, and if the ball was on the zone, Kevin would have picked that off.
What's been surprising so far is that Nyland has actually had pretty good protection. He's just not making the throws.
There's also been very good coverage by the Wayne Hills secondary. I'm very impressed by their performance thus far as well.
As number 3 of the Passaic Valley Hornets, Joe Licio, punts the ball out of bounds. We saw him in warm-ups. He looked pretty impressive. So the Wayne Hills Patriots will take over from the Passaic Valley 33-yard line. And now, let's send it down to Aaron Ploshnick, who has a report for us. Aaron, take it away.
Thanks, guys. After a first drive where the Patriots were running many running plays, an unfortunate fumble happened, and PV recovered the ball but drove downfield. Great for the Wayne Hills Patriots to stop him on 4 straight plays down at the goal line. Huge momentum changer with with a pass from Jeremiah Kale to Mike Fulham for a touchdown, and this game's momentum has entirely switched to the Patriots' side. Back to you guys.
Aaron, thank you very much, as the Wayne Hills Patriots will take over at the Passaic Valley 33-yard line. I formation here for Wayne Hills. Kale, play action, pump fakes. Kale goes deep for DeSico. Incomplete. Good coverage there by Passaic Valley as number 49, Matt Caluso, the senior cornerback, was on the coverage there.
That ball was nearly intercepted, too. I mean, that ball was thrown up for grabs. It was a nice play action fake, but it was a little underthrown there for the receiver.
You know, I'm impressed thus far by Jeremiah Kale. You could see the amount of confidence he's built thus far since his first game against Ramapo. You know, he's not scared to go deep anymore. He's not scared to make those big plays, and he knows he can. Especially when you have the feet like his, I wouldn't be scared either.
Guys, Second and 10 for the Wayne Hills Patriots from the Passaic Valley 33-yard line. I formation. Kyle, he's going to keep it himself as he pitches it out to Ray Van Penen. Great spin move there by Ray Van Penen, but he's still taken down the backfield for about a 3-yard loss. So it'll be about 3rd and 13 for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
I'm going to say look for a play action here, hit one of your big guys. They haven't seen Scott Schultz thus far. I think he'd be a good target to go to. Maybe Mike Fulham again. I mean, but this Wayne Hills offense is very unpredictable. They have a lot in their playbook. They have a lot of trick plays. And their third and long plays actually are surprisingly normally some of their trick plays. You know, you see them. They're not scared. We've seen a few quarterback keepers on third and long where Jeremiah's taking it very long. And, you know, we'll see what goes on here.
Scott Schultz will definitely be a good option here, especially on play action. Schultz just got an offer to Monmouth University to play football. I formation. Gayo rolls out to his right. Flags are thrown as the pass is incomplete, intended for Ray Van Penen. We will see what the call is from the referees.
Terrible throw there by Jeremiah. Maybe we just jinxed him, but he really had the open man in Ray Van Penen, who had a running lane to get that first down. So I believe the penalties against PV.
No, I think it's going to be holding.
Illegal motion against the Patriots.
Oh, there you go.
So illegal motion against the Wayne Hills Patriots. The penalty is declined, and now I believe
Punt team, I would assume, because Jeremiah Kale is moving to the.
4th and 13.
yes, the punt team is out. I was
Good
looking for
corner
Dan
position.
DeSico, and he's standing at about the Passaic Valley 48-yard line.
A precision punt here could pin the PV offense deep within their own territory, setting up for some possible defensive stands.
And they have
A couple
nobody
of weeks ago,
back.
Dan DeSico had a great punt that pinned the team around their own 2-yard line. I forgot who it was against.
They have nobody back. I don't know what's going on.
No one at all. I think they're expecting a trick play.
As the punt is going to bounce. Great play there by Kevin Barakat, but they're still going to call
I
it a
don't know
touchdown
how you call
as Kevin
that.
Barakat tried to hit the ball out of the end zone. So the Patriots will touch it down at about the 1 or 2 yard line.
I'm not sure how you call that. I mean, Kevin was clearly in the air, and from what I could see up here, the ball had not entered the end zone. So
I think the rule is different in high school football in terms of the punt play, as I would call it. I'm not sure what the rule is, but the rule is definitely different than what the rule is in the pros.
well, that would certainly explain it. I have to read up on my high school NBIAL rule book that obviously you have stayed up to date with, Dave.
As Nyland hands it off, I believe the handoff was to Joe Wassel as he gets a minimal game on the play. Probably just gets back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Passaic Valley Hornets from their own 21-yard line.
You know, look to him to go back to kneeling here. I mean, they've tried running the ball. They've tried some play action. Go out of a shotgun. Look for a big gain. They really need some momentum in their favor. They have to look downfield. They have to look for some big gains on the secondary. They have to try to find some holes in this defense, which they haven't been able to so far.
2nd and 9 for the Hornets from their own 21-yard line. 4 wide receivers set. Nyland fakes the handoff. Goes over the middle, intended for Damon Delorio. Good coverage there by Ray Van Penen, as Nyland has been very inaccurate tonight so far.
I like the play calling thus far. Nyland's just not delivering, which is very uncharacteristic. The opening drive, he looked very confident and very poised. He looks a little shaken up. He just can't seem to make these plays. I mean, the Wayne Hills pass rush, has not been overwhelming. They've certainly had better games than what we've seen thus far, so I'm a little confused by Nyland's play.
3rd and 9.
3rd and 9 for the Hornets from their own 21-yard line. Nyland back to pass, looks to his right, completes the pass to Delorio, but a great play there by Kevin Barakat on the coverage as he tackles Delorio right around the line of scrimmage as the Passaic Valley Hornets will have to punt.
Kevin has come to play today. I mean, you look at Kevin right now. That was just a great play. He, didn't hit him too early, but he hit him right smack at the right time, and he leveled him.
Another thing he did, which other secondaries might have done, is try to go for an interception or bat the ball down. He was smart. He knew that he was not even close to the first down marker, and he tackled him down.
Joe Licio to punt for the Passaic Valley Hornets. Morrison and DeSico back deep to receive. A nice high punt by Licio as Carlton Morrison calls for a fair catch at the Passaic Valley 45-yard line. And now we're going to give you tonight's trivia question, which is brought to you by Wayne Hills High School. Study hard and get good grades. The trivia question is, Wayne Hills broke the township record last Friday for consecutive wins with their win over the Golden Knights of Old Japan. Who held the prior record, and when did their winning streak occur? So you have to name the team that had the prior record and name the time when that team had that winning streak.
David, that question, I
know the answer.
I do know the answer
I know the
because
answer.
I saw it. But
And, you know, one thing I'm going to say here is that if you listen to my opening tease very carefully, I mentioned a little bit about that question.
As the handle of Carlton Marston, as he makes a great spin move, and he gets 5 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Wayne Hills Patriots from the Hornets' 40-yard line.
no, I mean, David, no.
No, I think you got to look for Jeremiah to establish a little bit more of the passing game. He did very good on the second drive, but you haven't really seen much since. Even if it's just a little screen or a little, play action dump off to their tight end Scott Schultz, I'd like to see him get a few more plays.
That is the end of the first quarter.
Now, let's send it down to the sideline where Aaron Ploshnick has an interview with Wayne Hills player number 33, Matt Lachansky. Aaron, take it away.
Hi, I'm here with Matt Lochansky, injured player from the Wayne Hills Patriots. Matt, what do you think about the game so far?
Well, I think PV's playing really physical, and Wayne Hills, we're always physical. So, I think it's going to be a good game coming up, and we're playing really good right now.
How do you think the touchdown after the fumble impacted the outcome and the position of the game?
Well, after Ray fumbled and, we stopped him on defense, that was a big turning point in the game. And after we scored, that really riled us up and, look for a lot more scores this game.
What do you think as far as the rest of the outcome of the game?
Well, I think we're going to run it down their throat and we're going to win this game.
Thanks a lot. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you very much, Aaron. As we are ready to start the second quarter of action here at Patriots Stadium, the Wayne Hills Patriots are defeating the Passaic Valley Hornets 7-0. I'm David Suntup. I'm joined by Andrew Gayo, and now Jason Olephant has just come into the booth. Jason, what are your thoughts on the first half of action so far?
Well, in the first quarter, I like what Wayne Hills did on defense. They did a great job containing quarterback Jim Nealon.
Second down for the Patriots.
Kale, handoff to Van Penen up the left sideline as Van Penen dives ahead as he's going to be down at the Passaic Valley 31-yard line.
Going back to what I was saying before, I like what Wayne Hills did containing Jim Nyland. But on the first drive for Passaic Valley, he did a great job getting his wide receivers, Damian DeLorio and Joe Wassel, involved. But on the second and third drives, they have worked to no avail, and Wayne Hills has done a great job containing the Passaic Valley offense on defense.
They did, Jason. I mean, quite frankly, the defense of the Patriots has been very good. Didn't look good on the first drive, but then they settled down on the goal line stand, and their offense, it fueled them.
First and 10 for the Patriots from the Hornets 32-yard line as the pass is intended for Dan DeCicco, but it's out of his reach. So now it'll be 2nd and 10 from the Hornets 32-yard line.
Little bubble screen attempt there by the Patriots, and it just got out of reach by Danny DeCicco. It was a perfect setup, but just a little overthrown. Questions, comments, concerns, please email us, WayneHillsTV at AOL.com. That is WayneHillsTV at AOL.com. Are you a pro sports fan? Then watch the 30-minute drill where you can see the whole revamped crew, who I don't have in front of me, but they're on Channel 77. Check it for local listings.
Yeah, that's a great crew. I'm the host of that show. It's a great sports show where we talk about our mind about sports.
I formation for the Patriots. Flags on the play. Could be false start on Wayne Hills. We'll get the call from the referee right now. As it is false start on the Wayne Hills Patriots, they will be knocked back 5 yards to the Hornets' 37-yard line. Actually, it's illegal procedure, excuse me. It will be a 5-yard penalty. So now it'll be 2nd and 15 for Wayne Hills from the Hornets' 37-yard line.
You know that's something Coach Christian Olsen isn't too happy about. Penalties can kill you, and Wayne Hills has had many penalties called on them so far this game.
And now, here is the answer to tonight's trivia question. Actually, we will put that on momentarily. 2nd and 15 for Wayne Hills from the Hornets' 37-yard line. Kale, handoff Van Penen. As Van Penen is taken down at about the 38-yard line. Good play there on defense by the Hornets.
Good pursuit there by Passaic Valley, knocking down Ray Van Penen. But on this drive for Wayne Hills to succeed, as we're going to see a 3rd and 11 here, I'm going to look for Jeremiah Keller to pass it to Mike Fulham. Mike Fulham having a huge impact in this game. We saw the touchdown earlier.
Phil Doritas for the Hornets was in on that tackle, the senior linebacker. Good play there by Doritas in the backfield. So now it will be about 3rd and 16 for Wayne Hills from the Hornets' 38-yard line. Big play here for the Patriots. Bearcat and Fulham split right. Van Peter in the backfield. Gayo back to pass. Looking to the right side of the field. He completes the pass to DeSico. Great block there by Johnson. DeSico eludes a defender, and Danny is down at about the 14-yard line. What a great play there after the catch by Danny DeSico.
And it was all set up by the block by number 72, Matt Johnson. Him and Kevin Bearcat got down the field and it just put up some great blocks there for the team, for the run by Danny DeSico. So they're running and gunning.
Matt Johnson just laid a great block there for Danny DeSico. There's a reason why Matt Johnson was an all-state selection right there last year, and you saw it right there. Hand off to Seco, and he's in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Patriots, as Wayne Hills takes a 13-0 lead.
Great play there by Danny DeSico, ran it right off the gut. He's just having a great game. Great blocking by Wayne Hills. Great play overall.
And he just burst into the hole in the middle that was not occupied by any Passaic Valley defenders. I was shocked by how he just broke through the hole and all he saw was the end zone.
So Scott Schultz will attempt the extra point, trying to give Wayne Hills a 14-0 lead. Seco to hold. Snap is good, hold is good. As the kick splits the uprights, as the Wayne Hills Patriots take a 14-0 lead.
Going back to that last play, that was Dan DeSico's 20th total touchdown this season. Congratulations to him, and he is just having a phenomenal season as Wayne Hills goes up 14-0 here with 10 minutes and 5 seconds left here in the first half.
I mean, that drive just shows you what the Wayne Hills Patriots are all about the whole season. I mean, they run the ball down the opponent's throat. They make plays, they execute them, and it's all about the blocking. We saw the offensive line do their job, what they've been doing the whole season, and the wide receivers. We saw Kevin Bearcat, Mike Full making good plays downfield, blocking downfield for the running backs, which really sets the tone for this whole Patriots offense.
Speaking of blocking, what you just brought out, Andrew, the wide receivers and the offensive line have really done a great job blocking tonight. And their blocking on offense has led to both their touchdowns. Kevin Bearcat made a great block on the Fulham touchdown, and now Matt Johnson made a key block on Danny's big reception that led to the DeSico rushing touchdown. And now Scott Schultz is 56 for 60 on extra points this season. That's just phenomenal. As Schultz to kick off for Wayne Hills, as we just now have a 14-0 lead, Passaic Valley really needs to answer back on offense. Nice kick by Schultz. As the kick is handled right by the goal line, as Akala takes the kick up to the 25-yard line of the Hornets. And now I'd like to give you the answer to tonight's trivia question, which is brought to you by Wayne Hills High School. Study hard and get good grades. The question was, Wayne Hills broke the township record last Friday for consecutive wins. Who held the prior record, and when did their winning streak occur? The answer was the Wayne Valley Indians, and they held the record from the middle of the 1966 season to the early 1969 season, and their winning streak stretched 25 games as Nyland takes over at the 25-yard line. Nyland back to pass. Good pressure there by Hannenberg as Nyland completes the pass to Delorio as Delorio scampers up and he is down at the 43-yard line.
Passaic Valley needs to gain some momentum on this drive. You saw that completion right there to Damian Delorio. On their first drive, he had many completions, and now on this fourth drive for Passaic Valley, they need to look for him and wide receiver Joe Wassel in order to get back in this game.
What's really impressed me tonight is Nyland has kept his composure under pressure. He was pressured there by Kyle Hannenberg and Tim Waller, but Nyland was able to escape from the pressure, and he still completed that pass for a first down. And a gain of 18 yards, so it's a big gain there for the Hornets. Jumbo set for Passaic Valley. Nyland rolls out to his left as the pass is intended for Delorio. Good play on defense there by Danny DeSico.
And the ball was a little overthrown, but Danny definitely let his presence heard. Delorio definitely heard footsteps, and that's the reason why that ball wasn't caught. And after the throw was incomplete. Danny laid a nice little hit there on Deloria to let him know, hey, this is my ground. You're not coming near it.
Tim Waller and Ray Van Penen also were in the vicinity and had great coverage there on Damian Deloria.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Hornets on their own 43-yard line. And they really need a score here because they can't afford to possibly fall 3 touchdowns behind this powerful Wayne Hills team. Shotgun formation for the Hornets. Nyland back to pass. Nyland pumps fakes. As the pass is complete to Acala. Good play on defense by Tim Waller. As Acala will have a gain of about 4 yards on the play.
And they're going to give him forward progress on that, but that was another great play by Tim Waller, who's made some nice plays tonight on special teams and on defense. I don't even think Timmy starts, but recently he leads the team. He's up on the leaderboard in tackles, that's for sure.
Also, a player that has been stepping up for Wayne Hills on defense is number 10, Kyle Hannenberg.
3rd and 6 for the Hornets from their own 47-yard line. Nyland back to pass. Good pressure there by Dave Ogden. As the pass is incomplete as the throw goes out of bounds. A mistake that will be forced to punt. Great pressure there by Dave Ogden, as Dave Ogden was the one who really created that bad throw by Nyland.
Ogden got right into Nyland's grill, and he just leveled him. I can't believe Nyland got the pass off because that could have been dangerous. It could have been a fumble possibly, but he got it off and he threw it down the field.
Good coverage also there by Dan DeSico. The pass was intended for number 17, Dan Alcala.
Joe Licio will punt. DeSico and Morrison are deep.
Joe Licio to punt for the Passaic Valley Hornets. Morrison and DeSico are deep to receive the kick. High kick there by Licio. As the ball bounces, it's going to be picked up by Dave DeSico. DeSico cuts it back to the right side of the field. He's looking for blockers. As DeSico is taken down at the Wayne Hills 18-yard line.
I could see what he was trying to creating there, Danny, but he did a little too much, and maybe in a little too much moving around. But I could see he was trying to get his blockers back on the other side of the field because he was going nowhere on the left side, and he just ran out of real estate when he cut back.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Andrew. Dan DeSico, though, however, on many plays this year, has taken those back all the way for touchdowns, surprisingly. And he has just great speed, but on that one, he just couldn't get some yardage.
I'm not sure how many yards Wayno's really saved there for picking that ball up, but it's definitely a dangerous play because if you don't come up with that ball, Passaic Valley could touch the ball and then take over on offense. I formation for Wayne Hills. Brzezinski split right. Kyle hands it off to Van Penen as Wayne Hills gets a gain of about 2 on the play. Actually, Carlton Marson on the carry. I did not see who the handoff was to. I apologize for that. But Marson gets a gain of about 2 on the play.
And Damian Diorio on the tackle.
On this drive for Wayne Hills, look for Wayne Hills to get running backs Carlton Morrison and Dan DeSico involved. We've known all year that Wayne Hills has had a 3-headed monster consisting of Ray Van Penen and Carlton and Dan DeSico. And look for both of them to get involved during this drive for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
2nd and 7 for Wayne Hills from their own 20-yard line. Hand out Van Penen. Good block there by Kevin Barakat as Ray Van Penen is forced out of bounds at about the 41-yard line, as Ray Van Penen is really starting to get his explosiveness back.
And it's taken a while for him because the injury in the preseason really dismantled him and his knee, but he's worked his way back through physical therapy and a lot of hard work, and he's come back strongly in the past couple weeks. We've seen the old Ray, I guess you could say.
Week after week, Ray Van Penen is looking better and better. Last week against Olephant, he broke a 50-yard touchdown run, and that drive, he just juked out a lot of Passaic Valley defenders. Great run by Ray Van Penen.
1st and 10 for Wayne Hills from their own 41-yard line. I formation, 2 wide receivers split left. Kale hands it off as a handoff is to Ray Van Penen as he gets a gain of about 1 on the play. So it'll be 2nd and 9 from Wayne Hills from their own 42-yard line.
And I think the Passaic Valley Hornets, I guess you could say, are out of sync because right now they can't stop the Patriots on the defensive side, and on offense they have no rhythm whatsoever. If the Hornets want to come back in this game, they need to stop the Patriots soon and maybe hold it to 14 at halftime so they can come back in the second half with some motivation. Because if they score and it's 21-0, forget about it.
Wayne Hills takes their second time out of the first half And guys, while we have a moment, I would like your opinion on the other North 1 Group 3 state semifinal matchup between the Parsippany Hills Vikings and the Teaneck Highwaymen.
Well, I mean, Mike Girardi, we all know, the left-handed gunslinger for Parsippany Hills Vikings. He can play, but he didn't show up last year against the Wayne Hills Patriots, nor did that whole team, because the Patriots embarrassed them at Giant Stadium. The Teaneck, however, has Rashad White, who, quite frankly, is one of the big name running backs in the state of New Jersey, along with the Joe Martinex and the Ray Van Peenens and the Guy Germanarios. But no, I really think I give the game to Teaneck because Rashad White, as you see on your screen there, the cameramen for the Patriots are for us, Brian Rossman and Sean Yu. But back to what my point was being said was that I really give it to Teaneck because Rashad White, he's just very overpowering, and they have a good defense as well.
I have to agree with you on that one. I think the Teaneck Highwaymen are going to take this one because their defensive coordinator, first-year defensive coordinator Bobby Sharples, has had his troops rolling, and I think, in my mind, it's going to be the Wayne Hills Patriots and the Teaneck Highwaymen at Giant Stadium in the state final.
As you just saw, all of our cameramen were just on camera. Passaic Valley also has a crew here doing the game. They are announcing the game. Kale, play action, rolls out to his left. As the pass is just out of the reach of number 40, Mike Fulham, and it's almost intercepted by Passaic Valley.
They're really getting Mike Fulham more involved, too, in the offensive scheme, it seems. I mean, he had his moments during the season when the ball's been thrown to him, but, I mean, I guess it was the interview this week, David. You must have said something to him that he must have recognized and told the coaching staff, because now he's getting the ball a lot more often, or thrown in his direction.
Mike Fulham has been on fire as of late. Against Mawa in the last game of the season, he had 2 receiving touchdowns. And then last week against Olephant, he had a great game as well. And earlier in this game, he had a big touchdown reception. So Mike Fulham has been a huge part of the Wayne Hills offense.
3rd and 8 for the Patriots on their own 43-yard line. I formation. Kale fakes the handoff. He's going to pass it to Van Peenen. Van Peenen makes a great deep as Ray Van Peenen is tackled at about the 48-yard line as a flag comes down. As Danny DeSico just pushes down a Passaic Valley player, it's going to be another flag. It's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Danny DeSico. So there are 2 flags on the play.
And that's not good for the Patriots. I mean, that's the last thing you want to see is an unsportsmanlike conduct call called on you that gets you pushed back.
So we'll get the call from the refs momentarily. The first one was holding against the Patriots, and the second one is a personal foul against the Patriots. So both penalties are on the Patriots.
This penalty is really going to hurt the Wayne Hills Patriots. They're probably going to go back to their own 30, most likely, as there is 6 minutes and 37 seconds here remaining in the first half.
I'm not sure where the ball will be spotted, but if I'm the Hornets, I think I would probably accept the penalties just so you could knock Wayne Hills back a large distance. Because if Passaic Valley does not accept these penalties, and I don't know if it's their choice or not, then Wayne Hills has about a 4th and about 3, I would say. And Wayne Hills could go for it and convert. But just looking at it, Wayne Hills is probably going to be at their own 25. Actually, the holding penalty was declined, but the personal foul penalty is accepted.
The personal foul penalty is accepted.
So
that is a 15-yard
Wayne Hills is going to punt
infraction.
as Danny DeSico is out to punt. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please email the Wayne Hills TV Club at WayneHillsTV@AOL.com. Once again, that is WayneHillsTV@AOL.com.
Passaic Valley really needs a good return here from one of their return men. They need to get something going on offense to score before the second half, because as we know, they deferred, and Passaic Valley will get the ball to start off the second half.
Nice deep punt there by DeSico as it backs up a Cal, as it takes a Wayne Hills bounce, and it is down by number 22, Kevin Barakat. Good special teams coverage there by Kevin Barakat and Jeremiah Kale.
And it was all set up by the punt by Danny DeSico. I mean, he got a lot of leg into that. He made up for the penalty that occurred, and he just booted it downfield. And that's all you can ask for from your punter, to boot a deep one down the field like that, 40-plus yards.
Yeah, I talked to sophomore Steve Locarica earlier in the day, actually, today, and he told me that Dan DeSico has been working on his punts during practice this week, and that punt was a sensational one, probably his best of the year, a 60-yard punt. Sensational play.
A little less, Jason, because you mark it by the spot of the line of scrimmage originally.
First
so
and 10 for Passaic Valley from their 24-yard line. Nyland on the keeper. He's running up the sideline as he's brought down by Ray Van Penen at the 4th yard as a flag is thrown on the field.
No, but back to the point about the punt, Jason. It was, I mean, I can see what you were saying because a lot of people make a common mistake, but you have to take away, you mark it from the line of scrimmage. So it was about a 40-plus yard passes. Tim Waller's running off the field without his helmet on, so there must have been some hustle and tussle underneath the pile there.
6 minutes and 8 seconds here left in the first half. The Wayne Hills Patriots are defeating the Passaic Valley Hornets 14-0 as the call is a block in the back on the Hornets. I think the penalty is from the infraction, so Passaic Valley will have the ball around their own 29-yard line. It's a 10-yard penalty.
And Tim Waller's being tended to by Margaret Doherty, the trainer. If we can get a shot at that, that'd be terrific. But no, I mean, he must have been the one that got hit by the block in the back. I mean, and usually you don't see Timmy come out of the game with an injury, and this could be not good.
Shotgun formation, 4 wide receivers set here for the Hornets. Nyland runs it to his left. He's going to keep it. He's up the field, and a good tackle there from behind by number 34, Mike Massoud, as Nyland gets a huge gain there, as you see Tim Waller getting attended to by Margaret Doherty. Hopefully Tim will be okay and will be able to come back to the game.
2 straight plays there by Jim Nyland, having the quarterback keeper and getting a good gain of yardage on both of those plays. But in order for Passaic Valley to stay in this game, they need to get the passing game going. You can't emphasize that more. Damian DeLauro and Joe Wassel need to make some key catches on this drive for Passaic Valley to score and make this game 14-7.
First and 10 for the Passaic Valley Hornets from their own 47-yard line. Nyland pump fakes, going deep as the pass was intended for Dan Acala. Good coverage there by Kevin Barakat.
And Kevin's come to play. He's just put excellent height coverage there on the receiver, and he made a play. You know, he prevented him from catching the ball, and that's all you can ask.
Another thing that Wayne Hills has been working on in their practices is different formations on defense with the defensive backs, and it's been showing in this game so far. Great coverage there by Kevin Barakat, nearly intercepted it there.
Second and 10 for the Hornets from their own 47-yard line. As I believe there's a timeout on the field.
No, there was.
The refs are talking it over.
Official timeout.
There's an official timeout on the field. So if Wayne Hills wins this game, they will play in the North 1 Group 3 State Championship on December 2nd. Time and location to be determined. Nyland, handoff to Wassel, as Wassel gets the first down as he's taken down at about the 40-yard line by Mike Fulham.
That's something Passaic Valley needs to build momentum on. That was a good run there by Joe Wassel, and now they're in Wayne Hills territory on their 40-yard line. And let's see if they can score here and make this game 14-7.
First and 10 for the Hornets from the Patriots' 40-yard line.
First down, Hornets on the Patriot 40.
2 wide receivers split left. Acala and number 11, Tom Coyle. Handoff to Wassel as Wassel is brought down at the line of scrimmage. Good play there by the Wayne Hills defensive line.
And it was good push there. Pushed the offensive line back for the Hornets. And this is key because it looks like Nyland can run. I mean, he's shown that he has the legs. And right now the Patriots have not stopped that. So this will be key for the Patriots to put an end to all the talk of Nyland.
Good pursuit. Good pursuit there by number 55, Dave Ogden, number 35, Scott Schultz, and Big Matty Johnson, number 72.
Second and 9 for the Hornets from the Patriots' 39-yard line. High snap as Tim Waller comes back into the game and sacks Jim Nyland. Great play there by Tim Waller.
And all signs of him being hurt, I don't think so anymore. He came out of nowhere there. He blew past everybody, and Nyland didn't even expect it. He just got leveled there for a loss.
What a tackle there by number 4, Tim Moore. He looked like he was in trouble there on the sideline, looked like he was injured, comes right back in the game, and makes a huge play for Wayne Hills.
Because they are in a fire zone. RUN 81H. SSR 90.
So 3rd and 8 now for the Hornets. Nyland with 2 men to his left. Two men in the backfield. Nyland, play action fake, rolls to the right side. And he is sacked. There's a fumble on the play, and it's going to be picked up there. It keeps rolling around. Nobody's yet to fall on it, and it will be Patriot ball.
That's a way to take Passaic Valley's momentum right out of the game. They're driving on the Wayne Hills 40-yard line. And just like Ray Van Penen did earlier when he fumbled and took the momentum out of Wayne Hills, the guy from Passaic Valley fumbles. And now Wayne Hills has great field position on their Passaic Valley 43-yard line and are looking to score yet again.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I will be taking over temporarily because David's checking if his car is in the fire zone. He does not know his license plate, so I will be taking over temporarily. Little toss there to DeSico. DeSico running to the right side. He's going to be tackled there, so now it will be 2nd down for the Patriots.
Good move there by Dan DeSico. Juke to his right. Got a good gain of about 6 yards on the play. As we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the first half, Wayne Hills looking to score yet again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. I'm filling in for Suntup, so we're gonna make it through here. Don't worry about it. He's a little scared, I'd assume, because it's his first day driving, and that would scare me. And I've been driving for a little over a year, so. All right, Andrew, play-by-play, shall we?
2nd down for the Patriots. Handed off there to DeSico. He runs down the left side. He's going to be taken out of bounds at about the 11-yard line.
Great block there by number 55, Dave Ogden, and number 35, Scott Schultz, setting up that big run for number 20, Dan DeSico. And Wayne Hills is driving yet again, looking sharp on this drive.
So now be a 1st down in the red zone for the Patriots.
Folks, on your screen here, if you could see the fence along the football field here, those are all PV fans. The stands are full. They cannot fit anymore. Everyone's lining up along the fence. Like I said earlier, we didn't get a shot, but you can see it good there.
Handed off there to Van Penen. Not much of a gain. Gentlemen and ladies, we have Q's Corner with Michael McHugh. Michael, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Andrew. Good evening, everybody.
Michael, right now it's 14-0, and we're about to get a shot of us. I have a feeling Patrick Calabrese, he's looking in our direction. There's Michael McHugh, as you can see on our screen. There we are. But Michael, in this game, it's 14-0. Closer than you expected?
It's a lot closer than I expected. I was scared at the beginning from that drive from Passaic Valley. Oh, Jeremiah Kale, what a man, scoring the touchdown there.
Jeremiah Kale just got into the end zone.
Dr. Kale, Andrew, Dr. Kale. Dr. Kale.
On the touchdown.
Jeremiah Kale, that quarterback keeper option play works time and time again for him, and that play right there improves Wayne Hill's lead to 20-0, pending this extra point by number 35, the Hawkeye, Scott Schultz.
I was a little worried that they weren't going to utilize the quarterback keeper like I would have imagined they would by developing a running game out of the tailback position first and then going to Jeremiah. But it's proven to be effective thus far.
Schultz, the kick. Bad snap there, picked up by Schultz. He's trying to run. He throws up a desperation pass. It's batted down, so the extra point attempt is no good. That's not good because that could be something, right, Michael McHugh? That could hurt in the long run.
It could hurt. If the defense of the Patriots goes down, that could end up hurting them. If Passaic Valley scores 3 touchdowns, they could lose 21-0 because of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, the following automobile.
Simple math there, McHugh. 7 times 3, 21. So you'd be correct. They would lose if they scored 3 touchdowns and got the extra points. The only
Michael, I mean,
pass-
this has really been out of control. I mean, with all this havoc coming, David Suntup running away with the fire zone thing, and I don't know, Jason Olephant. We are very confused right now with this botched extra point. Michael, what's up with the chaos?
I don't know. All I gotta say is Dave Suntup choked. He should know his license plate number if he's a licensed driver. What do you want, Olephant?
Mike, I have a question for you. What do
you want?
What do you think of the Ghost Knights? The Ghost Knights, Mike. What do you think of the Ghost Knights?
Don't answer that question, Michael. We need to talk about football here. We're in the state playoffs. I mean, that was totally irrelevant to the topic. Kicked there by Schultz down into between the 5-yard line, taken up there by the Passaic Valley Hornets to about the 27-yard line. So that's where Jim Nyland and the troops will take over. 51 seconds remaining here in the first half. Wayne Hills Patriots leading the Passaic Valley Hornets 20-0. I'm Andrew Gayo, David Suntup's MIA, Matt Dubow, and Jason Olephant, and Michael McHugh alongside me.
I really do think Dave ran off for no good reason. I mean, there's no fire zone from what I could tell where he is parked, and his car seems just about fine because it's parked next to mine. So, yeah, I think he's okay.
And we just got news that after this play, I'll give it to you. Handed off there up the middle, tackled there by Mike Fulham. So first down for the Passaic Valley Hornets. We have news. We have an update. The cars that were about to be towed are owners of the cheerleaders, so they're about to be moved.
You know, I think they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to tow them because the cheerleaders, they park there week after week. They park around the oval. It's tradition, actually. They do it every year, the varsity cheerleaders who could drive. And Miss Scala just talked to the officer, and I think everything's going to be okay.
Nyland runs down to the sideline. He throws it nearly intercepted there by Kevin Barakat. So it'll be second down for the Hornets.
Passaic Valley looks lackluster on offense after that big first drive when they were driving on the Wayne's 5-yard line and looked as if they were going to score and make this game 7-0 Passaic Valley. Ever since that drive, they have not been making the plays on offense, and Jim Nyland has not been making those big completions to his top wide receivers.
And now I have just made it back here as 1st and 10 for the Hornets from their own 42-yard line. Nyland rolls out to his left. He's going deep, and it's complete to Acala for the first down. He's taken down at about the Patriots' 38-yard line.
David, are you okay? You out of breath?
Oh, I'm fine now. Mr. Messi just announced that some cars were going to be towed, and I just got my license on Wednesday, and I did not memorize my license plate number. But luckily, my number was not announced, and everything was okay. But I was really scared. I'm not going to lie.
Dave, thankfully your car wasn't in the vicinity of that, because I would have been very upset if your car got towed on your second day of your license.
It was the car of some of the cheerleaders. I parked my car right by Mr. Jim Hookstreet, the director of the Wayne Hills TV Club, Matt Dubow, Aaron Ploshnick. I was just really scared. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Guys, this is Q. Might I also add, I would have been upset too, because after this game, we were all going to Dave's house for hot chocolate and cookies, and Dave would be driving us. If his car got towed, we would have to give Rita the call to the bullpen. She would have had to come take us. So I'm glad everything turned out okay.
Actually, my computer's just making up rumors. Just Jason Oliphant's coming over. But anyways, back to the action. As I heard that Jeremiah got another touchdown. Is that true, Jeremiah?
Yes,
got a
he
touchdown?
did. He
So
scrambled
Wayne Hills
in.
is now up 20-0.
Actually, Q made the call because he was in the middle of the interview, and all of a sudden he took the reins.
Very impressive there by Michael McHugh. Too bad I was not there for it. But if I was here, I would have been making the call. So maybe it's lucky for McHugh that he got to make the call. Another unique formation here. 4 wide receiver split right for the Hornets. Pass complete to Wassel as Wassel gets a gain of about 2 yards on the play.
Good coverage there by number 44 for the Wayne Hills Patriots, Mike Roman, as Passaic Valley calls a timeout here with 7 seconds left in the first half.
So the Passaic Valley Hornets burn their last time out of the first half. 7 seconds here remaining in the first half as they will get 1 try at the end zone.
And I think you're going to see Nyland's arm here. I think they're going to throw up a Hail Mary into the end zone to see what can happen. And David, you also missed an extra point being botched, so that's key. It's only 20-0. It was a high snap, and actually it was a low snap. It bounced, so that's not good.
Guys, we know that Jim Nyland is capable of making that big play. Last week against crosstown rival Wayne Valley, he threw for 361 yards and 6 touchdowns, so we know he's capable of making that big play.
Now.
Let's send it down to Aaron Ploshnick, who has an interview with Mike Giampapa. Aaron, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Michael Giampapa, injured starting quarterback for the Wayne Hills Patriots. Mike, how do you feel the first half of play for the Patriots was, specifically with your replacement, Jeremiah Gayo?
They're doing great. You know, especially him. He put 3 touchdowns up on the board for us, which is really big. He's controlling the game right now, so he's doing a good job.
How do you feel the second half is going to go?
We're going to come out and do the same thing, execute, get the run game started, and, everything else opens up.
Thank you very much. Have a good second half, and back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Now for the final play of the first half. Nyland back to pass. Great pressure there by Carlton Marson as the pass is complete to the tight end, number 80. As that is the end of the first half
No,
here.
it's not. 1 second left, David. He got out of
And
bounds.
actually, the tight end gets out of bounds. Now there's 1 second left. So Wayne Hills is, I would have to say that they're definitely going to play a prevent defense here, try to prevent the touchdown.
Smart play there by the tight end, John Corral, knew to get out of bounds, and now Passaic Valley will look to get into the end zone before the half ends.
Final play here for the Hornets. 3 wide receivers split left. Nyland drops back to pass. He's going for the end zone, intended for Delorio. As pass is just out of his reach as the Passaic Valley Hornets fail to put points on the board again. And the Wayne Hills Patriots will go into halftime up on the Passaic Valley Hornets 20-0. Guys, what are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, it's been a half of 2 tails, I guess you say. The 2 quarters really, it was 7-0 after the first quarter. The Patriots looked a little shaky on the defensive side as Jim Nyland showed signs of greatness on the first series, running down the field, and he got down there, and it ended up that they stopped him on the goal line, and then the Patriots put points on the board. So then in the second quarter, it was all Patriots on the defensive side and the offensive side. They come out with a 20-0 lead going into the second half. They're in good shape.
Andrew knocked it right on the button. Jim Nyland on that first drive was great, having many completions to his star wide receivers. But then the next couple of drives, it all fell apart for Passaic Valley. And now Wayne Hills will go into the half up 20-0, and they really need to get the running game going in the second half.
Passaic Valley has done a good job throwing the ball, but Jim Nyland has really been off on a couple of his passes, which has really hurt the Passaic Valley offense. And also, they haven't been able to come up with the big plays at the right time. The Wayne Hills defense has really done a great job when they needed to, and they've come up with key stops. And then the Wayne Hills offense has done a nice job tonight. Jeremiah Kale is playing another outstanding game.
Oh, he is, David. He's really maturing as a quarterback as Giampapa's replacement, and he's understanding the plays more, and he's showing more confidence, and that's most important.
Yeah, that quarterback keeper player is just a great play for Jeremiah. Week in and week out, ever since Jipu got injured in that Olephant game, that play has been probably, in my mind, the most effective play for Wayne Hills on offense.
So that is the end of the first half here at Patriot Stadium. Thanks, guys, as the Wayne Hills Patriots are defeating the Passaic Valley Hornets 20-0. And now let's send it over to the Wayne Hills Marching Band, directed by Matt Paterno.
Folk song, South America, Amazonia, Europe, and Russian sailors dance. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band. and gentlemen, let's stand and give an appropriate round of applause to the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band.
I'd like to thank the Wayne Hills Marching Band for their performance, but right now, I had a special opportunity to talk to number 40 wide receiver / linebacker Mike Fulham in the Locker Room Report. Enjoy, folks.
That's linebacker number 40, Mike Fulham, number 40.
Welcome to the In the Locker Room Report. Today, I'm sitting by with wide receiver / linebacker number 40, Mike Fulham. So, Mike, last week against Olephant, you guys shut down Jamie Rowe and Mo Gotuk. How are you guys able to do it?
We just knew everything that was coming at us. You know, they're two good backs, but we shut them down. Like you said, we came out with a lot of intensity and just really gave it to them.
Switching gears, this week you play the Passaic Valley Hornets. They're more of a passing team. Their running back had over 120 yards receiving. How are you going to shut them down in the passing game?
We're going to do the same thing we did for Old Japan. We're going to study them a lot, watch a lot of films, go over what we have to go over, and execute.
Now, last year you just played linebacker. Now you've taken on the role of being the number 1 receiver for this team. How have you been able to adjust to being a wide receiver now, besides being the number 1 linebacker on this team?
It's not that hard. I've been, it's a pretty active position. But other than that, I've worked a lot with it over the summer with my coaches, and I think I'm adjusted to it pretty well now, so it's going good.
After Mike G and Papa went down, Jeremiah Kyle took over the quarterback duties. How have you helped him make this adjustment?
I told him, look, we lost our starting quarterback, which is very unfortunate, and, he was a very good player. But we also need someone to step up, and, he's doing that. He's doing that. He's been working extra hard each week. He stays after practice and throws with most of the guys like myself and the other wide receivers. So he's definitely working to, his potential.
After last year, when you guys went to Giant Stadium and won the North 1 Group 3 state title, you know how it felt to play in Giant Stadium and win a state title. How much motivation does that give you for this game to go out there and beat Passaic Valley to get back to Giant Stadium?
Gives us plenty of motivation. That was probably one of the greatest feelings of my life, playing at Giant Stadium last year, winning the state championship. And being my senior year this year, I wouldn't want anything more. I want to do that more than anything.
So now, this year, if you beat Passaic Valley, you'll be going for your 3rd straight North 1 Group 3 state title. What would that be like to win 3 state titles at the varsity level and play in all 3 games?
It's more than I can ask for. I just want to go out and do it. It's a lot. It's a lot accomplished in 3 years, and it's gonna feel real good once it's done.
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we'll send it back up to the booth for the second half of action. Welcome back to Patriot Stadium. I'm David Suntup, and now I am joined by the sports editors of the Patriot Press, Max Henson and Ricky Katz. So Max, Passaic Valley, they've had a couple of good drives in this game. They've had some score opportunities, but how has the Wayne Hills defense been able to come up so clutch tonight?
The Wayne Hills Patriots defense in the beginning there, you saw Passaic Valley, they really put a nice little drive together, and they were moving it down. Got a lucky break there for the Wayne Hills Patriots. They were able to avoid giving up any points. They're still holding up a 0 at the end of the first half. But the Patriots defense seemed a little shaky in the beginning. They're really starting to shore things up. We've seen some nice hits out there, some big punishing blows. It's playoff football. The atmosphere is here today. The fans are doing great today. They're really picking up this defense. But they've really been able to – here's the key to this game has been so far is when they get the pressure on is when they're most effective. So when they're getting that pressure on the quarterback, he's making some tough throws, and it's just really been helping out their defense to get the pressure on. When they don't have the pressure on, that's when the offense is moving the ball down the field more effectively. So they keep the pressure on the quarterback. I think the defense will have a lot more success continuing in this game.
Well, the defense, they've given up some yards today, but they've made a lot of key tackles. I see when they have to put the hit on, they do. Passaic Valley had a chance to score, but Wayne Hills was still able to stop it. They forced a turnover when Passaic Valley was driving, which led to a touchdown. And basically Wayne Hills, the defense has done what it's had to do to win this game today.
Guys, tomorrow, the biggest college football game of the season besides the BCS championship game, the Michigan Wolverines are going to Columbus to face the Ohio State Buckeyes. Max, you're a diehard Michigan fan. You love wearing your Michigan hat around the confines of Wayne, New Jersey. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's game, and do you think Michigan could win the game on the road?
Actually, I think you could argue this might be the biggest game of the college football season, bigger than the BCS championship game, because this game is going to tell the fates of these two team seasons who have been the number 1 and 2 teams all year. In Michigan and Ohio State, it's different than any other rivalry in college sports. There's just something about the air between those two teams that's always been there for decades. And with the passing of the classic Michigan coach earlier today, just makes that game even more important to both the players and the fans of both sides. There's mutual respect. But you've got some great players on Michigan who look to be NFL prospects in Hart and Manningham. The quarterback is having a great year. Troy Smith, the Heisman candidate, looks to be a great game. I'm pumped for it. I know a lot of other people are pumped for it. ESPN's been talking about it all week. I can't wait to see the game unfold on Saturday.
Ricky, who do you think will win the game between Ohio State and Michigan? And do you think Max Henson's Michigan Wolverines will come out on top?
Although Ohio State they've been number one the whole season. They've been great in every aspect of the game. I really do like Michigan in this game. I think the way they've come on, the way they've blown teams out of the water this season, I think it's Michigan's time. They have Manningham, Henne, Hart. They've got great offense, good defense. I like Michigan in this game also.
Tonight, guys, this is your last ever game you will be watching here at Patriots Stadium as Wayne Hills High School students. What's going through your mind as you watch this game, and how sad are you going to be moving on to bigger and better things?
It's very sentimental for me, at least. I've been here for the past 4 years of my high school career, and we've seen some great players come through this program who have moved on to bigger and better things, as I might take that from you, Dave. But no, it's been great to come here on Fridays and just be here with the friends and watch some great high school football. We've had a great team every year I've been here. It's always been exciting. Whether who we're playing, we've had a lot of success with the championships and everything. It's going to be sad to leave, but every good thing comes to an end.
I enjoy coming here also. So we've seen 2 championship teams, and this year I'm just really focused on this year, but it's going to be a little upsetting to have to leave here as a student. I know I could always come back, though, when I'm not a student, but I enjoyed coming here for the past 4 years.
Last question, guys. What has been your best memory about watching Wayne Hills football?
My best memory is just knowing that our team has got a chance to compete and win every time they step onto that field. It's nice knowing not a lot of high school students have that to say about their football team, is that every time you come to the stadium, you know you're going to get 100% effort from all your players, and we're going to have a chance to win. And it's been great coming here, and there's nothing more you can say about this program. It's really done a lot of great things in high school football.
The best memory I had here was when Wayne Hills played Ramapo when I was a sophomore. And Wayne Hills ended up losing that game. They won in the playoffs, actually, which made it even sweeter. But it's just there were so many Wayne Hills football alumni here watching. It was just a very intense game. Came down to the last drive. That was my best memory here.
Ricky, even though Wayne Hills lost that game, how is that still your best memory when Wayne Hills has won 2 state titles since you've been a student here at Wayne Hills? How is a game that they lost your best memory?
Because just that seemed like it had the most energy out of all the games. The win-loss didn't really matter to me.
You didn't think the game at Giants Stadium had more energy?
It had more energy, but I wasn't at that game.
Really? I'm in a state of shock with you, Mr. Katz. Ronnie and Michael, man, they're probably in a state of shock watching this game right now. But anyway, we'll be right back after a break.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Positano Pizza, the finest Italian cuisine and pizzeria. Show us your Wayne Hills student ID to get 2 slices of pizza or a bowl of pasta, plus a drink for only $5.
Welcome back to Patriots Stadium for the second half of the North 1 Group 3 state semifinal matchup between the visiting Passaic Valley Hornets and your Wayne Hills Patriots. I'm David Suntup, and now I am joined in the booth by Wayne Today's sports columnist Rich Stamboyan. Rich, today, Passaic Valley, on their first offensive drive, they marched down to the field, but they failed to score on a 4th and goal situation. Right now, Wayne Hills is up 20-0. How big does that missed opportunity for the Hornets play in this game right now?
David, it was huge. They got a break. They recovered the fumble when the Patriots fumbled on their first possession. After the Patriots had a couple first downs, Passaic Valley came into this game with a lot of confidence after a big performance last week. I'm sure they were sky high for this game. They wanted very much to come out and put the first points on the board. The fact they got down there in a 4th and goal and didn't attempt a field goal actually kind of surprised me. I thought they would try to go for the field goal just to get the first points on the board and take something away from that long drive. They failed to get they went for this touchdown, they didn't get it, and that really kind of shifted them on them right there.
Rich, if you were in that situation, 4th and goal on the Wayne Hills 5-yard line, you know Wayne Hills always scores a lot of points. They scored at least 28 points. Actually, excuse me, they've scored at least 21 points in every game this year. If you're Coach Angelo DeSalvo, would you go for it on 4th and 5 and try to get the touchdown since your offense was playing well on the drive? Or would you try a field goal? That's not a guarantee in high school football.
Right. There's 2 schools of thought on that. One is that, and probably this is what Coach DeSalvo was thinking, I need to score touchdowns tonight. I can't be settling for field goals. I'm going to need maybe 21 or 28 points to win this game. But I think in this situation, first possession of the game, you're on the 5-yard line. You try to get points on the board, and you take the field goal.
Jeremiah Kyle has really played a fantastic game so far tonight. Talk about how he has progressed over the weeks, and why is he putting it all together tonight and playing such a great game, especially in a playoff situation like this.
As I said last week, David, when we talked about this, I think Jeremiah has had the experience of a few games now. He's getting all the reps in practice. He's doing the cram sessions, studying the films. He's totally focused on being a quarterback. He doesn't have to worry about playing on the defensive side of the ball. He's showing you his whole package of skills, running, throwing. We're seeing it again tonight. He's made good throws. He's misfired on a couple of passes, but he's a threat to run. You saw the last touchdown Hill scored just before the end of the first half. He's showing you all the things that he's capable of at quarterback, and he's another weapon that the defense has to worry about now.
Going back and talking about the Passaic Valley offense, Jim Nyland, he's been a little inaccurate tonight, and he's missed on some very key throws. If Jim Nyland made those throws, how different do you think this game would be tonight?
I think they might have had a touchdown. You could certainly see that he could have scored a touchdown, maybe two. He started out throwing the ball well. He had it connected early, and then I think maybe the pressure got to him. The physical pressure and maybe some of the pressure of the moment, particularly when his team got down 2 touchdowns, and he felt like I got to do more. I have to do more. I think he has tried to do a little too much and has rushed a couple of his plays, so might be getting to him a little bit.
Wayne Hills is up 20-0 in this game. If they hold on, they will advance to the North 1 Group 3 state finals. Who do you think they will be playing in the finals if the Patriots hold on to win this game?
Well, I tell you, it's an interesting matchup. Teaneck obviously has a powerful running game with Rashad White. Par Hills has got all their skill players back from last year. I was talking to some of the guys before the start of this game, and the popular opinion right now is to go with Par Hills. But I think it'll be a terrific game tomorrow over in Teaneck. To me, I don't know. I don't know the teams that well. I haven't seen either team play this year, but having seen Par Hills play last year, wow.
As the pass is picked up by Scott Schultz, and he takes it in for a touchdown, but there are multiple flags on the play, and we'll see what the call is.
That was an interesting play right there.
So, Rich, thank you very much.
That's negated. My pleasure, David.
And we hope to see you 2 weeks from tomorrow night at Giant Stadium.
Look forward to it.
Penalty against the Patriots.
As the call is negated, as there's a face mask penalty on the Patriots. As I need to give Andrew Gayo his headset back.
All right, and I'm back for the second half of play.
So the touchdown will not stand, and Passaic Valley will continue their offensive drive.
The pass is ruled incomplete.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Passaic Valley from their own 22-yard line. 3 wide receivers split right. Nyland pump fakes. He hands it off as Passaic Valley will get about a 2-yard gain on the play. I think the handoff was to Wassel.
And that, the interception game being called back and negated by the penalty is really key, because that could have sealed the door right there.
I'm not counting PV out on this one. I mean, Nyland's not playing up to par thus far, but I mean, he can really come back on you and sneak up out of nowhere, score 2 quick touchdowns, and before you know it, it's anybody's game.
2nd and 6 for the Hornets from their own 22-yard line. Delorio in motion. Nyland back to pass, looks to his left. He's going deep for the tight end. As the pass is incomplete, it's dropped by John Coral.
Good coverage there by Dan DeSico. He got down the field and he put a nice hit there on Coral that knocked the ball down and knocked away the first down.
Yeah, I mean, you really do have to make those catches. I mean, it was right in his hands, dropped it. I think he was anticipating the hit a little too much. He could have came down with that one. I mean, he seemed to have the size over Danny. He's a bigger guy and Just couldn't handle it.
When you're down 20 points against Wayne Hills, you can't drop balls like that. That would have been a first down for the Hornets, and they would have had a huge gain on that play. You can't make mistakes like that if you want to come back against a team like Wayne Hills. 3 wide receivers split left. Nyland, handoff to Wassel, and Wassel's got numbers. He's at the 50 to the 40. He's getting chased by Fulham as Mike Fulham makes a great tackle as Wassel is down at the Patriots' 21-yard line. That could have been a huge play there for the Passaic Valley Hornets if they got a touchdown on that play. But a great touchdown-saving play there by Mike Fulham.
And he got down the field really quick. He showed off his Division I caliber speed. I mean, he got down there. Wassel had everybody beat, and then Mike Fulham just got down there and he laid him out.
Yeah, it was a great spin move off the line. He bounced outside and just had a lane completely chased down by Mike Fulham, and that's a linebacker with a lot of speed. You'd expect that out of a defensive back, but not so much a linebacker.
Speaking of Mike Fulham, I'd just like to thank him for joining me for the In the Locker Room Report. I had a great time interviewing him, and it was really nice to talk to him. He's a great player, a great person. I really want to thank him. Nyland, shotgun formation. Nyland on the keeper as he's taken down by Tim Waller and Scott Schultz. As Nyland gets a gain of about 3 yards on the play, it will be about 2nd and 7 for Passaic Valley.
You know, I don't want to brag, but I did invent the In the Halftime Locker Room Report, and I'm just going to hope that it continues to the next season. You know, keep my legacy going, so to say.
We will. I mean, you're a great man. It's kind of sad that this is your last home game.
This is my last home game. It's very emotional, but I'm going to get through it.
I mean,
what are your thoughts on this being your last ever game you will broadcast here at Patriot Stadium?
I'm emotional, but I'm going to keep it tied up inside just so I can be very professional. I mean, the school holds lots of memories here in these stands, and lots of memories with you guys, 8th grade. I mean,
Nyland completes the pass to Delorio as there's a flag thrown at about the 19-yard line.
Matthew, I'm going to miss it. I mean, me and you going to get food every Friday together, it's emotional. I mean, we go out there. We have to get Dave's special sandwich because he doesn't eat pizza, so, you know,
we
it's
had
always
a lot of fun.
It's always something to remember.
Well, Andrew, I think next year me and you are going to be the people getting the food. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
So I will still get my sandwiches. I'll go into the Preakness Deli and buy my sandwich. And by the way, if anyone works there that watches these games, the Preakness Deli makes excellent sandwiches. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, the next time I could be on this field may as well be graduation. And that right there is enough to give you a tear in the eye if you watch, you know, some graduation videos of former classes. It's very emotional time. You know, high school is some of the best years of your life. I mean, I'm going to quote Ms. Bartley, my 8th grade English teacher. She said, high school is the best years of your life. And I said, oh, come on, you got college. I mean, I'm sure when you're a parent, you're married. Nope. High school beats it all. And I really have taken that to heart, and I truly do believe that you have to cherish every moment you have here at Wayne Hills High School.
Well said.
2nd and 14 for the Hornets. Nyland pump fakes. He's going deep for Akala as it's incomplete. Good coverage there by Jeff Brzezinski.
And he didn't bite on the pump fake, which is very key, because if he did bite, that was a touchdown there for the Hornets. And Nyland's getting good looks, though, in the second half. He's just not executing.
I must say, Nyland had a good pump fake. You faked our camera crews out. He went along with that pump fake, but not so much Jeff Brzezinski. He's got a little too much experience to fall for that one, and it was a great defensive play.
If the Patriots hold on to win tonight, this will be Coach Christian Olsen's 169th career victory as Wayne Hills coach. And then in the state final, he will go for his 170th win as Wayne Hills coach. 3rd and 14 for Passaic Valley from the Hills 25-yard line. Nyland rolls out to his right. Great pressure there by Tim Waller as the pass is incomplete for Joe Wassel. Great pressure there by Tim Waller. And now the Passaic Valley Hornets face 4th and 14 from the Patriots 25-yard line.
It was just a great pursuit there by Tim Waller. He got back there and, again, you know, forcing the bad throw there. That could have been, if Tim Waller did not get in there, that could have been another touchdown. It was just great execution by the defense.
Tim Waller's gotten a little underlooked, you know, throughout the year. He's kind of been a sleeper player on defense. He's had an amazing stats if you look at him. I mean, great tackles, great penetration, and he's going to be looking, you know, to lead this Patriots defense in the upcoming years. Or year. He's a junior.
Nyland back to pass, 4th and 14. As the pass is tipped by Dave Ogden. What a sensational play on fourth down by Dave Ogden as the Passaic Valley Hornets turn it over on downs.
The Wizard of Og at it again. Davey boy, he went out there. He had a great tip on the line there by Nyland, and he just shut him down. Great job there by David.
This Wayne Hills defense really has it going. They're completely sapping all momentum and energy out of this PV offense. Nyland's got nothing to work with. He's trying to force stuff. I think you're going to start to see some more turnovers. And good game for Wayne Hills defense.
The technical genius and the Wizard of Og just made a sensational play on defense. And guys, that could be the nail in the coffin for the Passaic Valley Hornets.
Until I see maybe one or two more scores for Wayne Hills, I wouldn't say that just yet. I mean, 3 scores is not that much in high school football.
Van Peter on the handoff as it will be taken down by a host of Hornets a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
If the Patriots score here, David, this is definitely the nail in the coffin because, quite frankly, they have been playing excellent into the second half, stopping the Passaic Valley Hornets anything of a score. And now on offense, let's just see if the Hornets have any life left in them. I mean, we're still early here in the second half, but hey, you never know.
Guys, I just want to let you know that it's such a pleasure to be back up here in the booth. I had a little scare at the end of the first half. I was worried that my car was going to be towed because I didn't know my license plate number. I've thrown down my license, but that was just a scare situation. Just a pleasure to be back up here with you guys all settled in. The wide receiver split right. Kale, pass it to Seco on the bubble screen. The Seco, losing a couple of defenders. Great spin move. He's still going as Dave DeSico is down at the 48-yard line of the Hornets. Great play there by Dave DeSico on the bubble screen. As you see the Wayne Hills faithful signal first down.
Doing the West Virginia there for the Mountaineers, copying them. I mean, I don't know if it's copyrighted, but Matt Taylor definitely, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to West Virginia football. I mean, Steve Slayton, quite frankly, that's all you need.
Kale hands it off to Carlton Marson as Marson gets a gain of about 1 on the play.
And that, I mean, David, they just keep executing this Wayne Hills Patriots team. They're relentless because this, you got to remember, this is the same Passaic Valley team that went out last week and scored 49 points on the Wayne Valley Indians. This just proves to you that on this side of town, football's just a little bit better.
Exactly my thoughts.
Speaking of Passaic Valley, this is their second week in a row they're playing a Wayne team. And next week, actually on Thursday, in their Thanksgiving game, their annual Thanksgiving game, they will play the DePaul Spartans in Little Falls, New Jersey. As DeSico down the sideline, a great run there by Dave DeSico. A quick burst up the left side of the field as DeSico is down at the 36-yard line.
This DePaul
Sorry, Andrew, go off your point. Sorry
Let's talk about the DePaul Spartans game, David. Last week, they were down 26-7 in the fourth quarter. They were actually down 27-7. They came back. They were down 27-26. They scored as time expired. They had a chance to win it, David. I'll tell you after this play.
Kale, hand off to Seco out to the right. Seco trying to get a couple extra yards, and he's taken down in the backfield for a loss of a couple yards by a host of Hornets. But back to what I was saying, 2 NBIL teams are in the North 1 Group 2 state semifinals. Mawa is playing host to Westwood, and then Passaic Valley is playing at Hopatcong tonight.
Back to what I was saying about the DePaul game, David. But no, they had a chance to tie it going into overtime, and instead they opted to go for 2. They failed. What do you think of that, David?
Well, I think that it was a silly mistake. You always take the safe bet in the playoffs. In the playoffs, I understand you want to be risky. You want to win because it's win or go home. But you can't take the chance because if you come up short, which most of the time you will on conversions like that, you will go home. So I think it was noble of them, but the wrong move in the playoffs. In the regular season, I can understand, but playoffs, not so much. As you see, our crewmen downstairs, they're under the bleachers. They normally do not go on camera. I'm wondering how we pulled that one off. I don't know how they got a camera down there, but yeah, they're very happy about that one. They control the scenes you're seeing right now. They switch the audio levels, which you're hearing. They really are the masters of the strings, so to say. So I believe there's been a timeout called on the field.
Well, going back to Andrew's question about the DePaul game.
Going way back.
It was a very gutsy call there by their coach to go for the 2. Basically, I would agree with DePaul going for the 2-point conversion because, as Andrew would say, there's no defense in the DePaul Spartans. So I don't think if Bishop Eustace won the toss in overtime, I think Bishop Eustace may have marched on the field and scored. But it depends what the tone of the game was, and I was not at the game, so it would have been different if I was at the game. 2nd and 12 for the Wayne Hills Patriots on the Passaic Valley 39-yard line. Gayo rolls out to his right. He completes the pass to Mike Fulham. Fulham, he's at the 15, 10, 5, touchdown Patriots! Mike Fulham, his second receiving touchdown of the game. That's the Wayne Hills Patriots like a 26-0 lead.
Great block there by Kevin Barakat downfield as Mike Fulham had a great pass there actually from Jeremiah Kelly. Ran down the field and then Barakat, he got into the red zone and he pushed his man down and got into the end zone for a touchdown.
Blockers tend to go unnoticed, so I'm going to have to agree with that. But, I mean, Dave, I really do think you are Mike Fulham's good luck charm. He's going to have to do interviews with you more often because he's having one heck of a game. Along with Dr. Kyle Jeremiah, he's also playing amazing operating on this defense. I mean, you're seeing a lot of passing out of this offense, something that's very uncharacteristic of them. They're very run-based. And the snap is bobbled again. Danny DeSico picks it up, fakes the throw. He's going to try to run it in. He's taken down. So that's the second bobbled extra point tonight. Back to what I was saying. I mean, the passing offense right here is something you like to see out of Wayne Hills. A change of pace almost, so to say, and it's really working out for them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's just unacceptable there. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just miscommunication, but, I mean, they're lucky they're up 26-0 because if this was a close game, it would not be a good situation.
So now Wayne Hills is up 26-0 against Passaic Valley. 5 minutes and 30 seconds here left in the third quarter. Now Passaic Valley, that play before Ogden tipped that pass was the nail in the coffin. Guys, this touchdown by Fulham was definitely the nail in the coffin.
Dave, I don't know if you heard me before, but like I was saying, I think you're Mike Fulham's good luck charm. You need to have interviews with him before the game more often.
Matt, what did you say about Mike Fulham again, being a good luck charm?
Yeah, I think you're his good luck charm by having interviews with him before the game. You got to do that more often. Definitely before the championship if they get that far. I don't want to jinx them. But.
Well, superstition is always the way to go, Matt. What else can I say? Schultz, the kickoff for the Patriots. Nice high kick by Scott Schultz. It's fielded by Wassel. He bobbles it and drops it, but Wassel recovers. Wassel spins ahead as he's taken down at the 23-yard line by Jeff Brzezinski.
Now, I don't want to discourage any PV fans that may be watching, but the PV stands are starting to thin out, and I don't know if you can see in the background of that shot, but we have some fans leaving. I think this deficit and with the time left, they just want to get a quick jump home, beat any traffic, and get a good night's sleep, but I can't blame them. I think it may be over, maybe a little far out of it. We'll see if Nyland can come back from this one. It's going to be hard. It's certainly going to be one of the bigger obstacles in his high school career.
Nyland, handoff to Wassel to the right. As Wassel is taken down by a host of Patriots close to the line of scrimmage.
Now, PV just tried to utilize their play action, but one thing with that is you cannot overemphasize the play action like I think they're doing thus far. I mean, a little too much hand motions or gestures is going to send them off, and they're going to know that's not normally how you run and your posture with the ball. PV has to try to keep it a little more subtle and try to get Wayne Hills to bite on that. Their running game is completely non-existent tonight, as almost throughout the season, any team against Wayne Hills, but we'll see what happens.
2nd and 10 for the Hornets from their own 23-yard line. Shotgun formation. Nyland takes the handoff to Wassel, and Nyland's going to keep it, as Nyland will get a gain of about 3 on the play.
I think they borrowed that play from the Wayne Hills playbook.
Yeah, except Wayne Hills, I think, gets a couple more extra yards than
Yeah,
Matthew.
I think I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah. questions, comments, concerns, please email us, WayneHillsTV@AOL.com. That's WayneHillsTV@AOL.com. Keep those emails coming. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of...
We cannot
you know,
keep up with them. I sit at my computer night after night just trying to get through them all, and it's
Yeah.
hard.
3rd and 6 for the Hornets from their own 27-yard line. DeLorio in motion. As Nyland is taken down for a sack in the backfield. Great defense there by Wayne Hills.
Kyle Hannenberg had that sack, but initially Dave Ogden was the one that put pressure on and made him scramble. So good teamwork there by this Iron Curtain line that you viewed earlier this week in the record.
As Dave Ogden continues his great defensive performance in this state semifinal, as Dave Ogden comes up with the sack, and now Licio is out for the Hornets to kick it away to Wayne Hills. As the snap is high, Felicio just gets the punt away. It's not really a good punt, but takes a Hornets bounce. As the punt will be down around the 46-yard line. So the Patriots take over at Passaic Valley's 46-yard line.
That could have been much worse for the Hornets. They're lucky they got that off. I mean, that could have been a potential touchdown.
No, I'd assume the Patriots would just run the ball, considering that that's what they do best, and that'll keep the clock moving. They'll probably end up with a few additional scores doing that alone, but it'll definitely help keep their players safe from harm. You know, you don't want to injure anyone in these final plays of the game before a state championship, so we'll see.
3 minutes and 6 seconds here left in the third quarter. Wayne Hills defeating Passaic Valley 26-0. Kale, play action. He's going deep for Kevin Barakat. He's got it! Actually, it's incomplete. Just out of the reach of Kevin Barakat, and Kevin Barakat is on the ground and pinned. Hopefully he's okay.
He rolled around a little bit there. Could have been a collision between him and the ground, but no, beautifully thrown ball in there by Jeremiah Kell. I mean, Kevin had to lay out for it. I mean, he made a good attempt, but it was just unfortunate it popped out loose.
Talk about that play calling. I mean, I assumed run the ball, get rid of the clock, but right out of the gate, Jeremiah Kell going long. I mean, they see that the passing game is really working against this defense. I think they're just trying to emphasize that and, you know, build his confidence for the upcoming week here.
Kevin Barakat was upset that he did not come up with that catch, but that would have been a sensational play by Kevin Barakat if he came up with the ball. And then Wally World, Walter Johnson just gave Kevin Barakat a pat on the shoulder for encouragement.
You can't ask for more than effort, and he gave a lot of effort on that play, so you have to be happy with him as a coach.
DeSico in motion. Kyle hands it off to Marson. Marson makes a great cut. He makes a great juke, a great spin move by Carlton Marson as Marson is down at the 30-yard line of the Hornets.
Well, I mean, you got to go back to Barakat on that play. I mean, not going to take away the running back option there by Marson. He did a nice job, but Barakat, you know, he's had a great game. Besides that last play, he's done amazing, you know, on the defensive side.
Blocking.
And great blocking. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Matthew.
So now it'll be 1st and 10 for the Patriots at the Hornets' 30-yard line. So Wayne Hills right now, they're going to look to run the ball a lot, just basically kill the clock,
You'd
keep the
assume
ball
that.
in their possession. As bad snap, but Jeremiah recovers the ball as Kyle will be taken down around the line of scrimmage. Good play there by Jeremiah Kale to get the ball and recover it. Otherwise, that could have been a very messy situation there
There's
for
a
the
flag
Patriots.
on the play, and I believe it's going to be a face masking, which will give them, and I believe that's the call.
Matt Dubow, when you grow up, you should go into officiating, as that was a face mask on the Passaic Valley Hornets. So that will move the Patriots up 5 yards to the Hornets' 25-yard line.
Not to rain on your parade, Matthew, but the coordinators are screaming face mask.
You caught me, Andrew. I'm observant, both with my eyes and my ears.
You're a very intelligent young man. I mean, you know, I'm not taking that away from you, but just officiating, you know, maybe it's not your thing.
As a handoff is to Van Pien up the middle as he bulldozes the defender as Ray Van Pien gets down to the 11-yard line.
So under 2 minutes now in the third quarter. It's 26-0. Dave, just close to my prediction, but not yet.
Okay, I'd like to take this moment to shout out my parents, Janice and Joseph Dubow. Last week, it was Joseph's birthday, or 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
2 weeks ago.
November
I should
2nd.
know that. I should really know that. I don't know why I don't, and we shouted his name out. He really got a kick out of it, and he watched, and just wanted to do that
Kale, handoff Van Pien.
Short.
as Van Penen is taken down around the 4-yard line. So it will be second and short here for Wayne Hills.
On the tackle.
As you see, Kyle Hannenberg now into the game for the Wayne Hills Patriots. So Kyle Hannenberg getting some experience at tight end.
Where he will be next season, as Scott Schultz leaves for college, undecided.
Speaking of Scott Schultz, he now has 2 offers. He has offers from the University of Connecticut and Monmouth.
You know, UConn is probably a little bigger. Big East, you know, a little more opportunity.
Jumbo set for the Patriots. Kyle handoff Van Pena as the play is blown dead by the officials. Let's go to the officials for the call. It'll be false start on the Patriots. That will back them up 5 yards.
You know, as the third quarter is coming to a close and my time here is dwindling down, I'd like to give a little player of the game award. Now, I don't want to jump the gun, but since I'm not here at the end of the fourth, I want to do it anyway. I'd have to go with a little duo here between Jeremiah was a bullfrog, Gayo, and Mike Fulham. I mean, they really had great connection tonight. They were really feeling each other, great chemistry. Mike Fulham, absolutely breathtaking. But guess what? Somebody's got to throw the ball to him. So Jeremiah, bullfrog, Gayo. Great job.
Yeah.
So it'll be second down here for Wayne Hills, as the Patriots are going to burn a timeout. Coach also wants to talk something over with his offense.
Timeout, Wayne Hills.
With 9 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, so
I'm going to give my goodbyes, guys. It's my final game here. My final game announcing here. Hopefully I will be with you next week. Matt Dubow signing off.
You're doing play-by-play.
You're doing play-by-play.
So Matt Dubow departs from the broadcast booth. So that was his last ever quarter here at Patriots Stadium. Matt will be back with us at the state championship game. And now, Jason Oliphant is taking over the play-by-play duties from me. My voice is a little sore. Wayne Hills basically has this game in hand. I want to let Jason get some experience. So, Jason, how's everything going so far?
Everything's going good. The Wayne Hills running backs have been sensational in the second half, especially Danny DeSico and Carlton Morrison. I said they needed to step up in the second half, and they definitely did, as Wayne Hills has the ball here on the Passaic Valley 10-yard line. Jeremiah, I-step formation, handoff Van Penen up the gut. He will be signaled down at the 1-yard line. Good run there by Ray Van Penen.
So now the scoreboard is not working again.
No, it was a first down, I believe. So then it stops on the first down. Yes.
Yeah, now it was a first down, but the scoreboard has not been updated in a couple of plays.
So now it's the end of the third quarter.
So at the end of the third quarter, it's the Wayne Hills Patriots 26-0. Relentless pursuit by Wayne Hills to begin this second half. Guys, what do you think of Wayne Hills' play here?
I mean,
they have played really well. They really came out here in the second half. They played good defense on Passaic Valley. Dave Ogden just made a couple of sensational plays on defense when he tipped that pass and when he got the huge sack. And then Wayne Hills came right down the field as Mike Fulham got his second touchdown of the game.
Expect the reserves to come in. That's all I got to say because, I mean, right now it's a blowout. They really took control of this game from the beginning, and I could definitely see the reserves coming in.
As we see Coach Olson talking to his troops on the field, this game is pretty much in Wayne Hills' hands. So for Wayne Hills, they will either play the winner of Parsippany Hills Teaneck, the game that will be played tomorrow evening. So guys, if Wayne Hills does indeed play the Teaneck Highwaymen in the state final, as we see the cheerleaders on your TV screen, do you think it'll be a tough matchup for the Wayne Hills Patriots versus the Teaneck Highwaymen?
Well, Teaneck is definitely a rushing team. As we've seen, Rashad White, over 2,000 yards on the season. Congratulations to him on that great accomplishment. But Wayne Hills has shut down every running back they have played this year, and they have not allowed more than 50 rushing yards in any. Actually, I think they haven't allowed more than 50 rushing yards to any single rusher this year. So the Wayne Hills defense has been absolutely incredible this year. So I know Teaneck, they have a good offense. They've been playing well this year, but I think Wayne Hills could definitely take them on.
Touchdown Patriots. 1-yard run by Ray Van Penen, and Wayne Hills extends their lead to 32-0, pending an extra point by Scott Iowa Schultz.
once again, I mean, they took control of the game here. The Patriots, they never gave the Passaic Valley Hornets the opportunity to play the game that they played against Wayne Valley, and they've done an excellent job and shut them down.
Speaking of the Wayne Hills rush defense, going back to my earlier point, they have not allowed more than 50 yards to a single rusher. That is just incredible. And last week against Olephant, they shut down Mo Gotuk and Jamie Rowe.
DeSico to hold, Schultz to kick. There's a penalty before the play is even snapped. Could be a false start on the Patriots.
Jeff Brzezinski now is holding for the Patriots.
And it will indeed be a false start on the Patriots. So the Patriots will move 5 yards back, but in my mind, I don't think that's a problem for Scott Schultz because he has a great leg kicking.
Oh, definitely not. There have actually been 2 instances this year where the Patriots are backed up 15 yards on extra points, and Scott Schultz was able to convert on both opportunities.
So now, yeah, I definitely, he's got a leg. He's from Iowa, so, you know, the water's different out there.
The extra point is up. And it is good. A beautiful kick by Scott Iowa Schultz, and Wayne Hills extends their lead to 33-0.
So now the Patriots have a new holder, and Jeff Brzezinski is now the holder for Scott Iowa Schultz. As Wally World is giving encouragement to Dave Ogden, who I believe is the long snapper for these Patriots.
Yes, he is. So now it's 33-0 with here in the fourth quarter. I mean, they've been sensational on the defensive side, the Patriots, and on the offensive side, you gotta give it to Jeremiah. He's my player of the game. He's gone out there. He performed when nobody really expected him to do. You know, he did more than people expected him to do, and that's definitely a lot to ask for. And he got to that level of perfection, I guess you could say today, because today he was perfect.
Schultz to kick, number 3, Joe Lischio, and number 17, Dan Alcala, back to return for the Passaic Valley. The kick is high and over end. And it will be returned by number 7, John Sessa. Number 3, actually, Joe Lischio. Couldn't really see the number on that one. Sorry, folks.
It's hard to see some of these numbers out there, Jason. Don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us.
So Passaic Valley will take over at their own 37-yard line. Right now, I don't know if the reserves are in, but Passaic Valley, let's try to get a score here to gain some respect for the Wayne Hills defense.
This game's definitely out of reach for the Passaic Valley Hornets. Right now, they're just playing for respect and for some reps for next week's game against the DePaul Spartans.
Kneeling on the keeper, and he is mauled by the Wayne Hills defenders. Tim Waller on the tackle, and number 40, Mike Fulham.
Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please email the Wayne Hills TV Club at WayneHillsTV@AOL.com. Once again, that is WayneHillsTV@AOL.com.
They've really done a great job of containing Nyland tonight as well, because Nyland, we all know that the kid's got talent, and they've really done a great job of just shutting him down completely.
Nyland, I set formation, 1 wide receiver right. Number 4, Frank Girardi in motion. He throws, and it is almost intercepted by Kevin Barakat. He had it right in his hands. Just couldn't come up with that one. That would have been a huge momentum shifter for Wayne Hills, and he would have tucked that all the way because he had a lot of room after that interception.
Kevin Barakat definitely, I would definitely assume that he regrets not making that play because, like you said, Jason, he could have taken it out of the way. And Wayne Hills, they really block well on all these returns, so that could have been a huge play there for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
This is his best game of the season, too, by far, Kevin Barakat. He came to play.
2nd and 3 for Passaic Valley on their own 44. Shotgun formation for Jim Nealon. Nealon, pursuit by Tim Waller. He runs to his left. Good play by Nealon, making something out of nothing. Gain of about 3 on the play.
Good play there by Jim Nealon. He escapes the pressure there by Tim Waller. He's able to get a good gain on the rush.
And Nyland really ran out there well. You know, he did a good job of making something out of nothing, as Jason said. But no, I mean, he's still, quite frankly, the Patriots have contained him the whole game.
we're not sure what down it is because the scoreboard is not operating the right way.
It's 4th and 1.
Oh, it is 4th and 1. Okay.
So Passaic Valley will elect to go for it. I think it's a smart move by Passaic Valley, don't you think?
Nothing to lose. You're down 33-0. Try to work on some offensive plays for next week against DePaul.
So 4th and 1 for Passaic Valley. Nyland I-set formation. And Wayne Hills didn't like what they saw, so they decided to call a timeout. Smart move there by Coach Olson, even though his troops are up 33-0. With 10 minutes and 43 seconds left here in the 4th quarter, Wayne Hills looking to move on to the state championship in their pursuit to win back-to-back, two-back state titles.
Coach Olson not taking any chances here. He's still playing his starters with a 33-0 lead, and now he wants to make sure his defense knows what to expect from this Passaic Valley offense.
I think that Coach Christian Olson has his troops still in there playing the first team offense and first team defense to get them ready for the state championship game. He wants them fresh, and he wants them ready, and he wants them to be prepared to face either Teaneck or Parsippany Hills in the state title.
While I have a moment, I would like to wish the injured players a speedy recovery, and those injured players are Kevin Altanji, Ronnie Dries, Jeff Wardle, Matt Lachansky, and Mike Giampapa. The Wayne Hills TV Club wishes them a speedy recovery, and we look forward to seeing them back on the field for the Wayne Hills Patriots, if not this season, then next season.
So 4th and 1 here for Passaic Valley. 3 wide receivers right, 1 left. Run right up the gut. And Joe Lischio will pick up the first down for Passaic Valley.
Good penetration there for the Passaic Valley offensive line as Lischio is able to sneak through a hole and pick up the first down.
Wassel on the carry.
It's actually Wassel.
Waller on the tackle.
But anyway, folks, I mean, nothing really to blame there. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. But I can see why Coach Christian Olson is keeping his starters in because, you know, keep them fresh for the state championship game because they won't be playing for another 2 weeks since they have next week off.
1st and 10, Tom Coyle and Jordan Brito wide right. Run right up the gut. And he is mauled by Wayne Hills defenders. Mike Fulham and Scott Schultz on the tackle.
Nyland showing there some of his rushing abilities as he just takes it up the gut. Good block there by the center as Nyland gets a gain of close to 5 on the play.
So guys, as it's 33-0 here with 9:39 and counting left in the game, I want to talk about a college football team that really gets my blood pumping. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They're undefeated, number 6 in the BCS. Do you think that this is Rutgers' Cinderella year to go to the BCS championship game?
Well, the winner of Ohio State and Michigan will definitely be in the BCS championship game, but a lot of things have to go Rutgers' way for them to get into the game. But I just don't think Rutgers gets the respect that they deserve because other teams that have more of a name, they have more tradition than Rutgers. So I think that will hurt Rutgers in the end. But I want to bring up that tomorrow, Saturday, November 18th, the Miami Hurricanes will take on the Virginia Cavaliers in Charlottesville, a battle of the Olsen brothers.
I'm sure Christian Olsen will be there watching that game. That's going to be a good one on TV to watch. So 1st and 10 after the Wassel 20-yard gain for the first down. Nealon brings his troops to the line. Number 1, Damian Delorio, wide right. Handoff right up the gut, and he is tackled by Mike Fulham.
So now, yeah, I mean, right now the Passaic Valley Hornets, as you said, David, they're trying to just get plays in for the DePaul game because right now it'll be 2 teams that are bound from the playoffs in that Thanksgiving game. The DePaul Spartans, who actually have this week off because they lost in the playoffs, and so they've been probably preparing for the Thanksgiving game this Thursday, 10:30 at Passaic Valley.
2nd and 7 on the Wayne Hills 25. Nyland I-set. Handoff to number 22, Joe Wassel. Goes to his left. Good gain there for Wassel. Gain of about 4 on the play. Tackled by number 55, Dave Ogden.
Passaic Valley driving again on their first offensive drive of the game. They got all the way down to the Wayne Hills 5-yard line, but they failed to convert on 4th down. I know Passaic Valley is going to eventually lose this game, but Passaic Valley would at least feel a little bit better after this game if they at least got a touchdown and put some points up on the board.
Yeah, we'll give them some momentum to go into the Thanksgiving game. I mean, they got to do something. To take a positive out of this game is very hard right now.
Damian Delorio and Dan Alcala wide left. It's a handoff to Joe Lischio, but there's a flag on the play. Could be a face mask or a false start here. Let's see what the call is.
I'm just saying,
Mike Warnett on the carry.
Apparently he had better.
Flag on the play.
So we will see what the call is from the refs.
I think it was clipping on Passaic Valley. Passaic Valley will be pushed back to the Wayne Hills 30-yard line.
While I have a chance, I just like to say, in Mrs. Kiernan's English class on Fridays, we have silent reading. And today I was reading The Art of Sports Broadcasting by Tom Hedrick. And I really like to say I learned a lot. I actually read the section, how to call play-by-play for football. So it was a really good experience. And if you're interested in sports broadcasting,
play action.
Tim Moore for interception.
And it's intercepted by Tim Waller. Tim Waller just having a great game today. Had many tackles, many sacks on Jim Nealon. And there, just makes a big play. Earlier in the game, he was injured, came to the sideline, and Margaret attended him. And ever since that, he has just been having relentless pursuit and having a great game here tonight.
When you look up clutch in the dictionary, you'll see Tim Waller's name right next to the word clutch. He has been absolutely clutch on defense for the Wayne Hills Patriots all season, making big plays on third downs. And then now with Passaic Valley driving, Tim Waller makes a huge interception.
Another man that's clutch. That's also I just saw that's in attendance is Nick Tamaro. So Gayo handed off there to Marson, taken down there by a host of Hornets.
Nick Tamaro, great man, plays for DePaul. He's a great player for DePaul. But anyway, as we have 6:21 left, let's talk about the New York Knicks, Andrew, for a second. They're 3-6. Isaiah Thomas, the head coach. What did they of the New York Knicks?
It's a story
Well, Jason, we'll get back to it in a second, but Aaron Ploshnick has one final conference. He was our salary reporter. He just wants to give his last bit of insight on the game.
As for my opening point in the game, when the Wayne Hills D-line against the Passaic Valley O-line, it seems the D-line has won the game. Dave Ogden, breakthrough player in the game, breakthroughs many of the time. Kyle Hannenberg played very well, and I'd just like to say that the D-line won this game, as well as Jeremiah Kale. Back to you guys.
Aaron, thank you very much. You're just a stupendous young man. You've done a fantastic job tonight on the sideline. But Jason, back to your point about your New York Knickerbockers. They've been a little inconsistent. They've showed some signs of improvement. I think David Lee should be in the starting lineup. I don't know why he hasn't been starting. And I think some of their guards are really inconsistent, like Stephon Marbury and Jamal Crawford. And Steve Francis, one night he plays really well and one night he doesn't. So it's a factor of consistency.
Well, Reynaldo Balkman, best pick in the draft.
Handoff up the gut to Jeremiah actually is going to keep it himself. Faked me out there. I thought Carlton was running it up the gut, and he just ran it right up to the left.
Flags.
Good play there by Jeremiah.
Flags on the play. Holding, so that's coming back.
Number 6, Brian Ogden, is in the game for the Wayne Hills Patriots. He's a great sophomore prospect. We look to have great things from him in the future.
That flag was on the Wayne Hills Patriots, so that will back him up a few yards. But back to your point about Brian Ogden, I've really been impressed by his play. The times that he's played here in fourth quarters, he's played very well. He's made a couple of receptions. He's played well on special teams for Wally World. But now we're going to have Q's Corner, I believe the second edition of Q's Corner for tonight. So I'm joined by Michael McHugh. And Michael, the Patriots are 4 minutes and 57 seconds away from going to the North 1 Group 3 State Finals. If the game is at Giant Stadium, and it most likely will be, how honored will you be to join us for Q's Corner at Giant Stadium?
Oh, I will be very honored, Dave. I've been dreaming of this all season. I live for that moment.
Mike, for that game, I'm going to be sideline reporter. It'll be my honor to do a sideline report with you. Will you please do one with me for the Giants?
I don't know, Dave. I got Q's Corner. You know, I gotta watch the game too. I don't know if I'll be able to do your sideline report. I'll see though. I'll see how the week.
To conduct Q's Corner on the field at Giants Stadium with Jason Olephant.
Oh, that would be amazing if I can get on the field at Giants Stadium where Tiki Barber, Michael Strahan, and the great ones play. That would be great. Oh, yeah.
What would it be like to step on the same field that your idols, Tiki Barber, Brandon Jacobs, Michael Strahan, play on the field? And Eli Manning, I forgot. Oh, my God.
Eli Manning, yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm going to be lost for words. I might actually do on the camera like Michael Strahan and the rest of the defensive line does. Ballin'.
Michael, one last question from Jason Oliphant. Here it comes.
Mike, it's 33-0, as Dave mentioned. Who would you rather see Wayne Hills face in the state title? Parsippany Hills in a rematch of last year's state title game, or the Teaneck Highwaymen?
Well, Parsippany Hills last year, they were unimpressive. It was, I believe, 49-0 was the score. So I don't think they could be much better than that. So I would like to see this change up a little bit. I would like to see Teaneck play Wayne Hills, see if we can get a good game.
In a miraculous turn of events, Wayne Hills started here at their own 35-yard line, and now they're pushed all the way back to their own 10-yard line. Mike, what do you think of this?
Honestly, Jason, I wasn't really paying attention. I was talking with you and Dave. I didn't really even notice that they were pushed back this far.
Mike, thanks for your insights. It was a pleasure to be with you. As we go back to the action here, Jeremiah Gayo on the quarterback keeper yet again. Gain of about 5 on the play. Jeremiah, this game, has had at least 8 carries on the quarterback keeper, and the play has been successful every time that Coach Olson has run it. This play has been, in my mind, one of the most essential plays in Coach Olson's playbook since Jeremiah Gayo was quarterback.
Oh, definitely. What really makes the play work is the blocking by the offensive line and the wide receivers who do a great job blocking, and Jeremiah has a lot of holes to run.
DeSico to punt from his own 2. Kick is high and over end. And number 22, Joe Wessel, takes it, and he is immediately tackled by number 22, Kevin Barakat, and number 44, Mike Roman.
One final word from Michael McHugh.
Not yet.
Never mind, he's not ready. He's got to get loose.
So this will be the 3rd time in 4 years the Wayne Hills Patriots knocked the Passaic Valley Hornets out of the North 1 Group 3 state playoffs. Back in 2002 in the first round, Greg Olson caught the game-winning touchdown in overtime as Wayne Hills beat Passaic Valley 27-24 in overtime on my birthday, November 15th, 2002. And back on November 14th, 2003, Wayne Hills won 21-0 behind Nick Warzel.
Jim Leland escapes from Dave Ogden, but then he is sacked by number 12, Tim Waller. Number 4, actually, Tim Waller.
Good play there by Tim Waller as he continues his outstanding night on defense. If I had to give out defensive MVPs tonight, Tim Waller and Dave Ogden will get my votes. They've just been fantastic on defense for this Wayne Hills team.
Well, they have, David. I mean, Jeremiah has been excellent on the offensive side of the ball. But to say the least, he's been phenomenal.
2nd and 16 for Passaic Valley from their own 39. Damian Delorio wide right. 2 wide receivers split left. Nyland hands it off. Gain of about 2 on the play. So, guys, as we have 1:45 left here in the 4th quarter, and Wayne Hills will go to yet another state title game. If Wayne Hills does indeed win, it will be their 3rd straight title.
4th out of 5.
4th out of 5, too, as you mentioned. How is Coach Olson going to feel winning back-to-back state titles if this indeed happens?
I think
He's
he'll
going to
be happy.
Incredibly happy, to say the least. And it would also be his 170th career victory as Wayne Hills coach if he could win next week. It just shows you the hard work and dedication that him and the coaching staff puts into this program, and they really get a lot out of all the players that they get in this program.
Handoff to number 22, Joe Wassel.
I'd also like to recognize Wayne Hill's offensive coordinator, Wayne Demakoff. He's just done a fantastic job as a defensive coordinator this season, as the Wayne Hills Patriots have only allowed 2 touchdowns on defense this season. That is just outstanding.
On the first team. The first team has only given up 2
Yeah, the first team has only given out 2 touchdowns. That's what I meant. And Wayne Hills is not giving up a rushing touchdown the whole entire season. That is just remarkable.
Also, Wayne Hills has done a great job tonight defending the crossing routes. It's something they worked on very hard in practice, and they held Jim Nealon to about only less than 100 yards passing after that big 361-yard pass performance last week.
And Michael, I mean, your last words, this game 33-0. You know, comments, criticisms.
State championship, here we come.
Thank you.
Ghost Knights, you heard, Ira, you have no chance.
Thank you, Michael McHugh.
As we have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Wayne Hills will go to the back-to-back state title at the Meadowlands, where it will be held, where Wayne Hills will look to pursue their 4th out of 5th state championship. So guys, what do you think of Wayne Hills advancing to another state title game?
It's going to be really exciting in 2 weeks when Wayne Hills plays in the North 1 Group 3 state final. It was such a fantastic game here tonight. The Wayne Hills defense really came to life. Dave Ogden and Tim Waller, among others, on that fantastic defense, really played a fantastic game. And then the offense, Jeremiah Gayo and Mike Fulham, they really had a fantastic game tonight as Jeremiah threw 2 touchdowns to Mike Fulham. And then also, Ray Van Peenan had a touchdown. He ran the ball well. Kudos to the whole team. They really put in a fantastic game. And now 27 wins in a row for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
And they keep rolling along, and there's nothing stopping them right now, because if they play Parsippany Hills, it could be uglier than last year. If they play Teaneck, it could be bad things to come for Rashad White.
All right. Now let's send it to a pre-edited credits that I hope everyone enjoys that is watching this game. Enjoy, folks.